On AFL Live, the cutthroat finals action continues. It's a touch of deja vu for both Hawthorn and the West Coast Eagles, who find themselves playing another final in the West. But unlike last year, there's no second chance. In '91, the Hawks went to Perth as the underdogs for the qualifying final. Not only did they win that encounter, they went on to beat the Eagles in the grand final. Many are suggesting now that the Eagles have learned a valuable finals lesson and they're ready to go on with the job. Today, we'll discover just what they've learnt about finals football. Yes, good afternoon everyone and welcome to the Subiaco ground here in Perth as the finals action in the 92 AFL series continues, and what a beauty it should be. Hawthorn doing it again up against the West Coast Eagles in a cutthroat final. The season is going to end for one of these teams today, as it did yesterday for Collingwood when St Kilda ended their 92 year with St Kilda victorious 13-13-91. Winning an 8-point thriller over the Pies, 12-11-83. In fact, St Kilda perhaps doing Hawthorn and the West Coast Eagles a favour, because the winner of today's game will march straight into the second semi-final, and who knows, one team could play just a couple of games before going into the grand final. Now, let's bring you up to date with the score in the match between Geelong and Footscray. The Cats looking very, very good. This is not a final score. This is a progressive score. But Geelong, what a boom second half it's turned out to be. 25-15, 165. They're going to go through. There's no doubt about that. Footscray disappointing after a marvellous first half. They kicked 14-4 in the first half. But so far in the second half have managed just 3-5 to take their progressive score to 17 goals 9. So just recapping that, the winner of today's game is going to be taking on Geelong in the second semi-final. An interesting little potpourri of events occurring, aren't they? Bernie Quinlan, welcome.
Very interesting, yes, welcome. Yeah, thank you, Sandy. It's good to be here over in Subiaco. Perfect conditions for the final here, and magnificent final it should be.
Great build-up we've had to this game. Bernie, tell me, do you think that the Eagles, after last year, they lost here to Hawthorn, and they lost the grand final, with that finals experience behind them, no major changes to the lineup, is the learning process going to be enough for them to create a win here today?
Well, no doubt last year's experience should hold them in good stead today against Hawthorn, and Hawthorn, of course, have got 4 players out of last year's grand final team. 2 very important players, Lawrence, who was just about best on the ground, and also Dermot Brereton, who's a tremendous finals player. So West Coast should be pretty well in good stead today.
We'll find out just what happens when we return from this break.
On Beyond 2000, saving lives in the high-risk sport of Grand Prix racing.
It's called an airfit.
The patch that's taking the pain out of dentistry.
That's amazing.
Solving the mystery behind Tragic Flight 295.
It's not easy to listen to this.
And our next athlete superstars. Optus presents Beyond 2000 Tuesday.
For real value for money on your Bali holiday, ask a travel agent for this brochure from Garuda, Indonesia. It tells you all about Bali, even some places you could bump into some famous people.
There's no time to lose away. Must be make time now for sure. Make time. We're all moving in century, but McDonald's always makes it great. Make time now. Time for McDonald's. Anytime you like money, new life. It's make time now for McDonald's.
At this year's Melbourne show, you can see wood chopping competitions.
Oh, and hundreds of goats.
Fashion parades.
And thousands of sheep.
The Bridgestone Holden driving team.
And thousands of chickens.
Melbourne's biggest fun fair.
And hundreds of horses.
Show jumping.
And thousands of dogs.
Your favourite footballers.
And hundreds of cats.
And, of course, the biggest parade of animals in the world. The Royal Melbourne Show. It's never been better value, and it's too big to miss.
For For those of you who may have just joined us, then welcome to Perth for this, the first elimination final between the West Coast and Hawthorn. Crowd building up. Last year in the qualifying final, there was a crowd in excess of 44,000. I can tell you that just over an hour ago, we were some 6,000 down on that figure. But they're late arrivers here in Perth, and you can bet your bottom dollar we will have a packed house for what should be a grand confrontation. So wherever you may be viewing, I certainly hope that you can stay with us. Let's have a look at the progress of these two sides throughout the year. The West Coast made a slow start, but then the foot went down on the accelerator, only to finish in a somewhat sticky situation with losses in Melbourne to St Kilda and Footscray. Both of those games were in pretty wet conditions late in the season. Hawthorn, well, they've been so strong for so many years, but as you can see, they too have had some hiccups before regaining composure towards the end of the season and winning their last 4 matches to finish 5th on the ladder. Let's have a look when they last met, because it was only a few weeks ago, in fact round 14. They've met only once this year, and victory to the West Coast Eagles 11-8-74. They defeated Hawthorn by 14 points. That game, incidentally, was played at Waverley Park. But here we are at Subiaco with a man who in 1983 and 84 kicked a century of goals. He won a Brownlow, Bernie Quinlan. Bernie, coming over here as we have yesterday, do you notice perhaps this time, unlike last year, there's a little less hype?
Yes, they've really been able to keep the lid on things a lot better this year. As we see Guy McKenna leading the Eagles onto the ground. Guy McKenna, of course, playing his 100th game today for the Eagles. A tremendous effort. He's had a few injury problems throughout the season. He seems to be over those groin problems. And, well, he's been a tremendous contributor for the Eagles over the years. But the hype hasn't been as it was last year, has it, Sandy? They've been able to keep the lid on the hype. And it's probably a much better preparation as we see the Hawthorn side come onto the ground here at Subiaco after a great victory last year in the qualifying final.
Yes, and here they go through their banner. They're lending their weight and throwing their support behind the Jobs 92 campaign, and that's good news for Hawthorn. As Bernie, we look firstly at the West Coast Eagles lineup.
Yes, well, very fortunate. Carl Langdon playing at centre half forward. A tremendous game last week against the Carlton side. He was a little bit fortunate to get off that charge this week at the tribunal, but very important to this Eagles side in that forward line. Peter Sumich also, if he was out, I think they would be struggling to win this game. They've got some very good players. McIntosh, Worsfold very strong in the back line, as is Jakovic, and Michael Brennan with the big job on Jason Dunstall. The Hawthorn lineup, well, Jason Dunstall, 139 goals for the year. What a tremendous performance that's been. He has a chance to break the record this year of 150 goals set by Bob Pratt and Peter Hudson. Jason Taylor with the big job at centre half forward, did well last week when he was thrown into the ruck. Jarman, a very talented player. Hudson on the other flank, very good. And Greg Deere with the big job in the ruck.
Great conditions. The scene is set for what should be a grand final. Dennis Cometti is going to be joining us behind the microphone when we return, whilst down on the boundary line will be John Rogers and Neil Brooks. Stay with us. All the top football action is coming your way on 7. Back as we pause for Advance Australia Fair before the action gets underway. The finals atmosphere certainly here at Subiaco now as we go down to the boundary line for his Mitsubishi Motors ground report. And welcome to our telecast, John Rogers. A good day for it, John.
Sandy, a fabulous day, and the atmosphere, as you said, is just outstanding down here. It's like a pressure cooker, and we are in for what's going to be a fantastic game of footy. The Mitsubishi Motors weather gauge shows us that the current temperature is 17.3 degrees. The humidity is at 60%. The winds southwest at about 15 kilometres an hour, but I would expect them to freshen as the cloud lifts. At the moment, it's worth about 2 or 3 goals towards the city end. Despite the rain we've had recently, Sandy, the ground is damp but certainly very firm and shouldn't cause the players any problems at all.
Yes, thank you, John. In fact, looking at this ground, it's in marvellous condition considering the reports we've had across the border that it was going to be very wet. We've seen training sessions throughout the week. But as we welcome Dennis Cometti to the microphone, and Dennis, it looks as though the Eagles have on the interchange bench some experience.
Yes, McKenna and Lewis coming down there, Sandy.
As we go now to our selections, and let's see. who we have picked in this all-important game.
You've done it again.
Oh, golly, I'll never learn, will I?
You were spot on last year.
Well, time will tell, but yes, I've gone for Hawthorn. Dennis, Bernie, John Rogers and Neil Brooks, who's going to be joining John on the boundary line, have all opted for the West Coast Eagles. Whilst the boys on the bench for the Hawks coming across, there was a bit of cat and mouse surrounding their final lineup, Bernie, wasn't there?
Yes, Anderson and McDonald on the bench for Hawthorn. And for the West Coast Eagles, well, surprisingly, Lewis and Guy McKenna playing his 100th game today for the West Coast Eagles.
Umpires in charge, Bernie, I'm sorry, Chris Mitchell and Dennis Rich.
Yes, two very experienced umpires. This is a cutthroat game here. I think they both clubs will be very pleased with the result yesterday, of course, getting the double chance and having the chance to play next week against Geelong.
It equates to finishing first or second, doesn't it, for the winner of this game?
A couple of marvellous matchups. Jason Dunstall, Michael Brennan. There was a question mark over Brennan, but he's out there. He's right.
Very sore ribs, actually, Sandy. He's not 100%.
Well, he's out there.
Yes, I know.
So here we go. Another cutthroat final. The winner goes on. The loser drops out for the year. From the middle, Kemp can't get an effective kick away. Going to be a free kick picked up, however, and it's going to go the way of Dean Kemp. Had a wonderful start to the season. He'll head down towards the half-forward line. How far out will Sumic come? He goes towards 50 metres. Good mark in front. McGuinness trying to do the work from behind. McIntosh is the man who will take it outside 50. Sumic gives him a lead. Goes too far. Hedy's at the back. Brett Hedy directly in front, 30 metres out.
Well, his form has been a little bit patchy of late. Of course, he's had an injury-interrupted season with those hamstrings. Both hamstrings have given him problems. But, of course, he's such a dangerous player that he picks up probably one of the best defenders each week in the opposition. Today it looks like Ray Jenke has the job on Brett Hedy. But he's a very damaging and dangerous player near goal.
Directly in front. From 35. Stammering approach, and he pulls it away to the left. For one behind. Not a confident kick, Bernie.
No, that's an ordinary start. You really expect him to kick that from there, Brett Hedy. He has kicked 19 goals for the season, and those ones are normally gimmies for Brett Hedy.
Langford to the outer side. New up in front, misses it. Langdon behind. Now Matera, tackled by Collins. Collins dives on top of the football. Matera to get the free kick, though. He's at left half forward.
Interesting, Dennis, too, because of Gary Ayres' Achilles problems. He is lining up on the forward line today for Hawthorn.
Hedy wants it short. Matera goes long, though. Sumic behind Langford, fisted away by Deer. Out of bounds in the pocket. Well done by Greg Deer. The Hawks do have their supporters, but fair to say they're outnumbered today. Harding and Deer. Deer back to the boundary, out of bounds once more. Debris is not a factor. Ideal conditions for footy. And the crowd a good one, around 40,000. Harding in front this time. Falls forward. Allen close to the boundary line, pushes it across. It'll be thrown in. Sudden death this afternoon. The loser is gone. A great bonus after yesterday for the victor. Turley battles over the ball. They're going in pretty solidly. Wilson's in there too. And another whistle and a ball up.
Still just 25 metres out from the Eagles' scoring zone. Deer again just pops it up in the air. Through the arms of Mew it goes. Deer has another attempt. He can't take it. McIntosh is in there. Platten waiting for it to come out. Allen, a hurried kick. Gains probably 20 metres as he wobbles it over the line, and Chris Langford just hands it over.
He's been doing well in defence over the last couple of weeks, Ben Allen, playing in a different role. Probably with Gary Ayres coming back into the side, being used as a forward.
Hawks will be keen not to let the Eagles get an early jump, as they have shown recently that they certainly can do.
Craig Turley in the middle on Tony Hall. He has a big job. They could have a big bearing on the game, either of those two players.
McIntosh doing the ruck work. Jenke's kick is partly smothered, and again it's McIntosh over the line. Well,
Off his boots, Sandy, so out on the full.
Platten to take it. No doubt about it. He thought about going short to Allen. Now comes up towards centre wing. Mew is trying to hoik it over the back. Ayres. On him was Lamb. Waterman through. Langdon trying to create a path. Does get the hand pass away. Turley's kick goes up towards right half forward and pushed over the line by Pike for another throw-in. Good tight opening here at Subi. McIntosh had a front spot. Poor kick. Finds Harding. There's Scott McGuinness. He goes short to Turley. Drips it inside to Waterman, who's got a prop before getting his little chip kick up towards half forward. Pritchard had to beat a couple of them. Jarman does the scouting work, and the Hawks will be out of trouble again. Allen off to Pritchard. He's got a chance to go up towards the half forward line on the outer side. Paul Deere is there, and he takes the mark close to the boundary line. Swings inside with the left foot. Pass is not a good one. Harding is there to take it on the chest.
Gives it to Kemp, who weaves out of defence. Kicks for the boundary line, I fancy. It won't go out, though. Hawthorn have got the numbers out there. Pritchard hard against the boundary line. High kick. Back inside the attacking 50. Hudson got a fist on it. Paul Deere did well. Back to Hudson. Clever play. Hudson close to the boundary to Paul Deere. Kemp read it best. Socket off the ground by Jakovic. It ricochets off a body and goes out of bounds, I fancy. It'll be thrown in out there. Hudson pleading for the kick. It did hit a player en route to the boundary. Paul Deere thumps to the pocket. Waterman leads back in the race. Ayres is there. It's out of bounds. It'll be thrown in. The Eagles have a behind. Hawthorn yet to score. Throw in. Jakovic and Paul Deere. Deere down, looking for Platten. Goes again himself. Now Platten surrounded. And a whistle.
Tony Evans picking up Johnny Platten. That happened from a little bit before. Johnny Worsfold with a heavy tackle on Deere. And they're still finishing that one off.
Bounce in the pocket then. Not too high. Paul Deere got it down. Condon did well. Jarman from about 40 metres out snaps and goals.
By Darren Jarman. The Hawks lead by 5 points. We go back into the middle once again. Gowers a chance to take Hawthorn up towards the half forward line. His kick is low. Jarman lost it. Kemp a late tackle. Matera goes for a mighty swipe and gains 25 metres out towards McIntosh. Hasn't got the runners with him. Pritchard starts the handball. Finishes with Deere. Lopes onto the left foot. Then wobbles it up towards Hudson in the right forward pocket. With him is Worsfold. Worsfold defends. Straight to Condon, however. Back to Paul Deere. The left footer in towards half forward. Gowers trying to do the work from behind. And he'll have a shot directly in front. Some 45 metres out. Well, he wasted no time in lining it up. A couple of steps. Not a good kick.
Well, you're right, Sandy. Really a casual approach there from Andrew Gowers. He was within kicking distance from about 45 metres and didn't steady at all.
So Brennan will bring it back into play. One straight kick the difference. Cloud overhead. Subiaco, but also plenty of sunshine and really just an excellent day for football. Waterman tucked in the back pocket. Can go on towards Jakovic, and he does. It's down towards the half-back flank. Close to the boundary line. The Eagles still looking for their first goal. To centre wing. Well, Chris Mew slipped, recovered, and Johnny Platten's going to have to go back and give it to his Hawk defender teammate. He's now on the centre wing.
Big job too for Chris Mew, one of the veterans of this Hawthorn side, picking up the lively Carl Langdon.
This has been very lively in recent times. It is effective. Greg Deere marks it forward of centre. Deere's kick is high, in towards half forward. Jarman, tremendous use of the body.
He's a dangerous player, isn't he, on that forward line, Darren Jarman, whether he plays across the centre or on the forward line. And you see this kick again, he just uses his body so very well, holding Dwayne Lamb out of the contest and taking a very clever one-hander.
So Jarman going for his and Hawthorn's second. This isn't the start these 40,000 odd fans were hoping for here at Subiaco. It's the start Hawthorn fans wanted. Jarman set sail for home, and he's popped through one behind. Shake of his head, saying it should have been a goal. 1-2 plays a one behind.
Michael Brennan, the Trinity old boy, Emberside with a kick. High one, Mainwaring from behind. Now he opts out of the contest. Gowers, big leap. It falls to Platten in front just outside the 50. Down towards Dunstall. Knocked away down there. It falls to Waterman. Could have been taken high. He was. He'll get the free kick. Waterman deep in his own defensive area. The Hawks by 7 points. Langdon's the target. Falls short. Gowers couldn't hang on. Mew had it, then lost it. Evans did well at close quarters. Fed Langdon, who boots it to the wing. Well gathered by McIntosh. Then he fell over. Taken by Pike to Turley. Turley forward of the wing. Inside the 50. Sumic on the lead. Good mark. Peter Sumic will kick from 45. Amongst the goals last Sunday against the Blues. And he's capable of kicking this one. This is his spot on the ground. Sumic tries to bend it back. Doesn't come back sufficiently. Spectacular leap down there by Hetty. McGuinness came up brandishing the ball to Jarman, who's been lively. Hall in front on the outer side hangs on. Turley in close attendance. Just over 15 minutes remaining in this opening term. Hawthorn have started well. Long kick towards the wing. Off hands from Taylor. Out of midair by Condon. Down towards Ayres. He couldn't control it. Kemp did well. Nicely done to White, to the run of Matera. Great evasion. Storms to half forward. Probing kick inside the 50. Jenke in best position. Showed courage and must get a free.
That kick definitely holding up there from Matera. So Hawthorn kicking with the advantage of a very slight bruise in this first term.
Raymond Jenke from the back pocket. Just stabs to half-back. Andy Collins drifted down to the hole. And away he goes. Low into the middle. He's got Pritchard there. Off to Ben Allen. This is looking dangerous. Allen in towards the 50-metre line. Dunstall his target. Swings onto the left boot, trying to centre it. There's no one at home. Or Mitchell White got a shocking bounce. Deard gives it away to Gowers. He'll have a shot in towards goal. Over the top of Worsfold it goes and bounces through for a goal.
Bob Walker's got a hammer drill.
Hawthorn by 13 points. Back in the middle. Greg Deere gets it down. Mainwaring overran it. This is Evans on the wing. Goes down towards half forward. Jenke missed it. McGuinness behind, keeps it in front. Heads towards the boundary line. Well played. It'll be thrown in. Scott McGuinness. Boundary throw in just outside the attacking 50 for the Eagles. 13.5 minutes to play on the opening term. McIntosh behind the pack. Down goes Mew, and we'll have a ball up. Chris Mew, number 2. A famous number at Hawthorn, worn by Graham Arthur, Bob Keddy. He's carried on the tradition. Bounce about 60 metres from goal. McIntosh was high. Evans going nowhere. Hall. Now Platten behind. Breaks away from half-back the champ. Goes towards half-forward. Pushed under the ball was Kemp. Opportunity in front for Waterman. Fumbled. Collided with Ayres. It comes across to Kemp now. He finds Turley. Turley's on the wing.
Craig Turley goes to half-forward. McIntosh has it fisted away by McGuinness. And there's a throw-in the West Coast Eagles' right half-forward flank area. Good tight opening. But at the moment, Hawthorn having the score on the board, leading by 13 points. Wilson going back into this lineup, kicks into the pocket, but a good strong mark taken by Ray Jenke. Hall the flyer, waiting at the back, Mainwaring, well claimed, ball spills free. Hall again to Gowers, who's done well, pushes it out in front of the Rat Platten. Going with him is big man Harding, and he does well.
Ooh, we hit the fence very hard there, Johnny Platten.
Steaming into that fence, but he's up. He's up.
Yeah, Harding showed a lot of pace there too, Dennis, to get away from Johnny Platten. And Johnny just really hitting that fence very hard.
He's like a piece of wire. Evans round his body in towards half forward. Wilson could have been holding on there. He was, and Ben Allen will take it on the defensive side of centre. Different ball game come finals time. A few sides know it better than Hawthorn. To centre wing, Condon almost gave away a free kick. He's still in there battling for the football. Mitchell White also, but a bounce will take place.
Bright sunny day here at Subiaco. Clean possession to Taylor. Boots inside the 50. Drifting back Worsfold the mark. McKenna getting ready to come on as Worsfold breaks away. Little chip pass finds Evans, who played well last week. The run of Matera up through the middle. He's got the pace. He wants to take them on. Langdon was hurt off the ball. Langdon collided with Jarman. Meantime, Matera hand passes inside the attacking 50. Fisted away by Collins. Back comes Matera. Goal-scoring wingman, but he's under pressure. Socket away down there, McGuinness. Heady grabs it, boots it back towards full forward. Langford's in the road, though. In open spaces, Mew on the outer side. A runner inside him, he'll feed it off. He does. Jarman. Jarman runs to the wing, kicks towards half forward, coming up the ground. Well marked by Condon. Condon kicks it out wide. Gowers running to space. Gowers has the ball. Hall is running on for him. Will he use Hall? No, he doesn't. He centres. Dunstall on the lead. Great football, Hawthorn. Options everywhere down the ground.
Yes, and McKenna on for the West Coast Eagles. Peter Wilson off.
Langford certainly not 100% either after that clash with Jarman.
Langdon,
yes. Very heavy clash there. Jarman saw he was about to be shepherded out of the contest. Just lifted the arm slightly and caused Langdon a few problems.
Dunstall, 139 goals for the season, closing on the record. Kicks from inside the 50. It's close. It's a goal.
And Hawthorn have a 19-point lead in a fierce first quarter. They go out of the middle once again thanks to Gowers. Down towards the half-forward line. Taylor couldn't trap it cleanly. Kemp under pressure. It was a throw to Kemp, and so the ball is going to go back to Hawthorn. Taylor will probably take it just forward of centre.
Lucky it wasn't 50 as well.
Short Platten's loose on 50.
Well, they're losing track of who they should be picking up at the moment. The Eagles. Tony Hall
He's loose.
is loose, and
But
so
he's
is Hudson.
ignored. Here's Hudson. That's his target, and he's got him.
Well, that's Worsfold's man. Worsfold not sure who's picking up whom at the moment, but Tony Hall was running free, as was John Platten, who gave the pass in the first instance, and then Hudson with no one within 20 metres of him.
So the Eagles rattled at the moment. This would see them giving Hawthorn a 4-goal start. Don't do that to Hawthorn. There's another one. Great start by the Hawks. Hudson gets his first. That's his 38th for the year. He's kicked 38-36, but Hawthorn showing the way at the moment. 4-2 to the Eagles, one behind.
Yes, well, they're shell-shocked at the moment, the Eagles. Nothing going right for them. They're not too sure who they should be picking up. And Hudson, you cannot afford to give him that sort of latitude on the forward line. As Sandy said, he has now kicked 38 goals for the season, and very damaging near goal.
26-1. Interesting situation if you think back to last year's grand final. The loser got a 4-goal start, and earlier this season, same thing happened. Eagles supporters are hoping history repeats as Lamb goes down towards half-forward. Jenke is there. It falls behind. Collins has got it. He gets the free.
Might have been a bit soft, that one. Just body on body.
Heady. About 65 metres out. Long kick. Hawthorn have the numbers back there. Falls off hands. Pike had it, then lost it. Platten, and now McGuinness. And a behind. The Eagles, 2 behinds. They kicked the first score of the game. There's Wilson in the dugout. Here's Langford to bring it in. Margin is 24 points, just over 8 minutes till quarter time. Langford, the veteran, goes towards the outer side. Pritchard gets away again from Matera, who's been lax in marking him. Matera, favoured by the bounce, gets a second chance. He's on the wing. Mainwaring, both the wingers on one side of the ground. Was the tackle high? Yes, says the umpire. Mainwaring has it.
He did duck when he saw the tackle about to be applied by Jarman.
Chris Mainwaring towards half forward. Turley will fly from behind. Up he goes. Juggles the mark. always his. Had the run at them. Craig Turley about 60 metres from goal. Well, the call was play on. And Pritchard took advantage of it. Now Matera towards full forward. Headies in front. Fisted away from behind. Well played McGuinness. It comes to Collins. It was a little bit late on the outer side. Meantime, it's Pritchard. Spears the pass to the wing. Jarman so creative, pulls it back across his body. Hall to Allen. The interstate connection. Work it around the outer side. High kick. Waiting behind is Hudson. Well, he pushed Worsfold in the back and helped him mark it.
John Worsfold at half back. Cross to Djakovic, who lumbers out of defence. Kicks towards McIntosh. Doesn't let him down. Dwayne Lamb says go, and he does. Towards half forward. Pike having to do the work from behind. Deere spoons it out. New almost threw it out. That was to Collins. He's now going to get a free kick. Andy Collins. Floats it up over centre wing. Gowes has had a wonderful first quarter, and he almost held that. Going to be paid. Away he goes. Hawthorn inside 50 once again. Out comes Dunstall. It's hammered away by Brennan. Waiting down is Mitchell White. Gives a little ground. Worsfold from the back pocket. Trying to stem the tide. He heads back towards Dwayne Lamb. Doesn't take the mark. With him is Tony Hall. And he locks it up.
And Lewis on for the West Coast Eagles. Don Pike off. And I think they've also made a change. Waterman now playing on Andrew Gowers.
Here's the bounce. Evans a chance to sneak clear for the Eagles. He does. Towards Payne Waring. Can go on with it if he wants to.
He's now playing on the forward line, Sandy, on Ben Allen.
So plenty of changes being made by Malthouse as Langdon, recovering from that knock, drifts down to the 50-metre line. He'll have a shot.
Well, Gowers was causing enormous trouble to the West Coast Eagles early in the match. Waterman, who lined up on the back line, is now playing on the wing on Andrew Gowers. And Gary Ayres is being picked up by Guy McKenna.
From 52 metres, the Eagles looking for their first goal. He's given it to them.
It's 26 then. Deere wins it down into the path of Platten, who bursts away from the centre. Long bomb down towards full forward. Going back is Worsfold. Got a hand on it, did he? I think so. Bounce through for a behind in any case. Hawthorn increased their lead. Michael Malthouse, his problems early. Brennan finds Worsfold. The defensive side of left half back. Goes towards the wing. Not a good kick though, out of bounds on the full, intended for Djakovic. Now Paul Deere, who started pretty well. Back to the pocket. Dunstall. It runs free behind. Hudson running towards goal. Well done by White. And the ball has gone through for another behind. Alan Joyce. 4-4 to 1-2. Joyce with a remarkable record. Now Kemp at half back with the ball for the Eagles.
Platten minds him. Langdon and Jarman.
I'm not sure what happened there, Dennis, but Chris Mew limping very badly behind play. He went down there when George Stone, the runner, calling for the medical staff to come and have a look at Chris Mew.
So we'll keep an eye on him as Deere goes over the top. Condon tries to get it out. Umpire comes in. Chris Mitchell decides to take charge. But not good news for Hawthorn, with Mew still limping there, as you can see.
I think he's in real strife too. I don't think we'll see much of Chris Mew today.
Close to siren time. He may get a bit of a breather at quarter time. White lost it for a moment. Lamb gets it out to McKenna. Guy McKenna in towards centre wing, and Craig Turley. Back to Kemp. Tremendous pressure being applied by Hawthorn as Deere goes over the top of Kemp. Turley didn't appreciate. And a report.
Well, he did throw the boot out there and caught Dean Kemp around the midriff. So
all the drama happening here at the moment while that report's been taking place. Chris Mew is being helped from the ground. So suddenly the fortunes of Hawthorn perhaps changing. Mew coming off the ground.
Yes, I thought he was in a lot of strife there, Sandy. Chris Mew. I'm not too sure that it's a groin. It appears to be the groin, the way he's hobbling off.
Well, the boys on the boundary line will check it out as Taylor kicks in towards half forward. Good strong mark taken by Waterman at half back.
Plays on. Concedes some ground. Gives it back to Worsfold, who boots it out very wide. Here comes Langdon. Awkward half volley. Goes out of bounds. Just forward of right centre wing for the Eagles, who appear to have steadied. There's Chris Mew. So McDonald on the ground. And no doubt Joyce will restructure the team at quarter time. McDonald gives it across to Jarman meantime. Kicks inside the attacking 50. Dunstall trying to get it down, I think, to Platt. And it's picked up by Paul Deere. Open goal. How will it bounce the wrong way for the Hawks? Well, normally, screwing from that pocket, it would run on, I would think, left to right. It didn't. It held its line and went the wrong side of the post for Hawthorn. Bad luck for them. 4-5 to 1-2. Brennan to bring it back. Tough, ferocious game, this one so far. Condon up in front. Harding fist towards the boundary. Lamb in front. Escorts it across with the help of Hudson.
With Chris Mew off the ground, that's caused a reshuffle. And Jason Taylor, who lined up at centre half forward, is now playing at centre half back.
Yes, he has the job at the moment on Langdon. Jarman has had a marvellous first quarter. Goes long in towards full forward. Dunstall leaves it. And again, it just spins the wrong way. One behind. Under a minute and a half remaining, but 10 scoring shots to 3. Would no doubt be a concern to Eagles followers. Worsfold can go over the top to Djakovic. He does on the outer side. Time still for either of these teams to score in this first quarter. Djakovic to centre wing. McIntosh hammered into the back of the pack but couldn't take it. Mainwaring was waiting out the back. McIntosh decides to do it on his own. Now he goes down towards Subic. An important kick, this one, for the Eagles, because it will more than likely be the last effective scoring shot at goal for the quarter.
Another change by the Eagles. Dwayne Lamb off and Don Pike about to come back on.
Subic has kicked 64 for the year, 310 in his career. 30 seconds remaining. He'd love his 65th. Just drifted it across the face of goal and through for one behind. 1-3 plays 4-6 in a hard opening turn. So it should be. The season ends for one of these teams. McGuinness gets a call from Langford, who may have put that out on the full. Said the boundary umpire. You're safe. So we'll probably have the throw in, and that will be it for the quarter. It is it for the quarter as Carl Langdon hands it over at quarter time. Honours certainly with the visitors, Hawthorn. 10 scoring shots to 4. Hawthorn leads 4-6-30. West Coast 1-3-9. Goals to Jarman, Gowes, Hudson and Dunstall as Hawthorn amassed 4-6-30 in the first quarter of the West Coast. Their sole scorer was Carl Langdon. They're 1-3-9, a margin of 21 points.
Today's game is part of the Carlton and United Breweries 1992 AFL Premiership season.
Just a reminder for Melbourne viewers, you have a replay of today's qualifying final, the highlights thereof of the game between Geelong and Footscray immediately following this game at Subiaco. But now let's go down to the boundary line after a tough first quarter. Here are John Rogers and Neil Brooks. John?
Yes, Andy, Alan Joyce was full of praise for his players. You can imagine he singled out Platt for his work, Langford and Jenke. I can confirm that Chris Mew has got a very, very badly torn hamstring and probably won't play again. Tackle hard, stop the Eagles' run and keep getting the ball out of the centre. What happened over there, Neil?
Yeah, the message is pretty loud and clear from Mick Malthouse. Keep it tight, keep it competitive in the centre. Don't let Platten get away with the ball like he did in the first quarter.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Neil Brooks and John Rogers down on the boundary line. We're just about set for the second quarter. Deere appeared to have his name taken in the first. Paul Harding, a big task ahead of him, but here we go in the second quarter. The Eagles are down by 21 points. But this quarter they are kicking with the aid of a slight breeze. Harding hoping to get them going. He doesn't out of the middle. Pike and Platten both go to ground. It's bottled up. And immediately Chris Mitchell says, I'll have it. Jarman in picture there had a very good first quarter. Kicked an excellent goal. First one in this quarter might have quite a psychological bearing. Look at the way Jarman got that ball out on that occasion as well. So they drift it down to the half-forward line and Ayres takes the mark just inside 50. McDonald saying you can just pop it over the top to Pritchard if you like, or you can go longer. He elects the latter. Dunstall is the flyer, and quite happy to see the ball just pushed over the line. John Worsfold. So a throw in the right forward pocket. Paul Deere trying to do something miraculous. Dunstall will also perhaps attempt it. Socket out of his way by Matera, only as far as Condon. Got a call, a blind hand pass. McKenna under pressure, but somehow sneaks clear. Jarman could be first to the football if it stays in play. He's got to beat a couple here. And eventually he's beaten by the boundary line. So a throw in on the outer side. Second quarter as tight as the first.
The Hawks by 21 points. Flicked backward of the pack by Paul Deere. Brilliant stuff by Hall. Strong tackle by Pike. Got him down holding the ball. He didn't have much time, but it's the sort of tempo in this game at the present time.
Well, he did throw the arm out, Dennis, when he was about to be tackled.
Here goes Pike towards the outer side. Langdon's in front. Taylor from behind. It falls forward. Langdon. Quick hands. Kemp forward of the wing. Penalised was Langdon. Free kick to the Hawks then. And they waste no time. Jarman pops it into space. Taken by Hall. Hall goes down inside the attacking 50. Hudson.
Two players really causing damage. Jarman and Hall playing as midfielders.
Paul Hudson, 38 goals this season. Second best for the Hawks behind Dunstall. Last season he kicked 62. He kicks from right on the 50. Good looking effort to it. Slides across the face. Was it touched on the line? It was. Jakovic was there. Shades of last week. Right on the line. Minor score. 4-7-1-3. Hawthorn doing most of the attacking so far and looking better. A long way to go. Brennan. Members side. Mitchell White. Still in the defensive 50 to Worsfold. Needs to kick it and does. High to the wing. Harding in best position. Jarman back on him. Bounces obligingly for Turley. Hooks it down towards half forward and Hetty. He read it very well off the boot. Hetty leads back in the race. Gets it from Lewis. Just outside the 50. Lacking support though. Untidy handball. McIntosh really the only man who wanted it. Now Lewis. Lewis to Evans. Open goal beckons. He runs to 20 and misses. Tony Evans. Behind. Well, they don't come much easier than that one. 1-4 to 4-7.
And Sumic indicating the handball over the top was the go. Would have made the certainty of it though, Dennis.
Certainly anyway, I think, Bert.
Well, it wasn't. He's missed it.
Taylor the flyer. One behind is the result, gentlemen. That's all that counts. Taylor was held, so he has a free kick. He's quickly on with the hand pass to McGuinness. Lopes over the centre. McDonald in the pack. Jarman gets a hurried kick to half forward. Hudson steaming towards it. Doesn't get a favourable bounce. Ayres taken out of it nicely. Waterman under pressure. The ball spills free. Gow's off the ground towards Dunstall. He can't take it cleanly. Pike is there to try and bottle it up. And down Pike comes in again to take charge. Hawthorn pressure relentless as they surge it down to the forward line. Still 21 points the margin. Jakovic taps away from goal. Kemp gets it out nicely to McKenna, who's got a bit of space now. Up over centre wing towards Mainwaring. Can go on with it here. This looks more positive from the Eagles. In towards Sumic and Langford. Sumic quick to recover. Goes on to the right boot. It's high. It's coming back. Has it come back enough? I think it has.
Goal by Peter Sumic. And the Eagles needed that one. Dia wins it down. They're doing it very well out of the centre, Hawthorn, but this time it's a free kick to Harding. Normally Dia is laying the ball into the path of Platten, but now Harding catches them on the rebound and goes to Pike, who finds Sumic, and he loves this territory out here. Well, he got one with his right foot on the boundary just moments ago. Now, in his favoured area, with his left foot. We'll see what he can do.
Yes, well within kicking distance. He kicked one from just outside the 50-metre line last week against Carlton, so this shouldn't be a problem distance-wise.
Sumic, 65 goals so far this season. Out of bounds on the full. Well, Bernie, explain all of that to me, what we've seen in the last minute and a half.
Well, things have just turned around, haven't they, Dennis?
Funny
all of
game,
a sudden,
footy, isn't it?
Yes, it certainly is. And all of a sudden, a couple of good passages of play by the Eagles. More of the running style we're used to seeing here at Subiaco.
I meant the kicks. Collins, Dia goes up and takes the mark from the Collins kick, lays it off to Platten from half back towards the wing, storming up the ground. McDonald, it bounced off his chest, but he's going to get a free, is he? I think he will, so Hawthorn will get the ball on the outer side wing.
31 plays 16. The Hawks leading. McDonald and chip over the top. Well, he and Dia continue to play with it. Up to half forward. Paul Dia got a hand to it, but eventually it's taken over the line by Jakovic. Jakovic and Paul Dia once again. The latter got a hand to it. Condon can't sneak away. And another bounce. Somewhat subdued crowd here at Subiaco at the moment, just waiting for something to happen, and they're hoping it'll happen from an Eagles point of view. It may here as Condon's kick was smothered. Could open the door for Turley. Claimed by Jarman, however. Harding does well. Back to Matera. Forward they go. Matera's kick is long towards Sumic. Was there holding on? Yes, said the umpire.
Only very slight holding, Sandy, but the umpire right on the spot to pick that infringement. Wasn't that wonderful play back there by Peter Matera? Firstly affecting the smother, and then running on to get the hand pass, kick a long ball into the forward line, giving Sumic his chance to score from about 25 metres. There it is. There's the holding. You can see it. Langford was held out of position.
Sumic for his second. More importantly, to close the gap to just 9 points. He gets it.
To develop the most advanced four-wheel drive in the world, we tested it in the most rugged country on earth.
West Coast Eagles have kicked the last 3 goals in this game now. 3-4 to 4-7. Dia and Harding. Bounce favours Harding this time. Jarman knocked it down. Turley made a mistake, tried to go back to Mitchell White. Dia's kick was charged down. It ricochets to McDonald, who kicks towards the pocket, well wide of the mark down there. Dunstall was leading in that direction, unwisely I'd suggest. Off the ground by Worsfold. Turley rode a bump. It spills across to Waterman. Shrugs a couple of tackles and comes away from half back. Not a particularly good kick though. Harding goes back. Should have marked it. Laid it off into the path of Langdon, who tried to do a similar situation there with Matera. It was interrupted well though by Hawthorn. Condon. And now off the ground, McDonald down towards half forward. Standing up in the tackle, White gives it to Waterman, pumps it back to the middle. Harding goes up. Turley outside, storming down the ground, demands the ball. He's got it forward of the wing, Turley. Goes looking for Sumic. Langford closing. Well done by Langford. Picked up by Lewis. Back it comes to Sumic on the 50. High, floating kick. The 2 number 1s go back. It's another goal. It's another freak goal.
Oh, no. Carrying on from last week.
Well, we've seen 2 of the best goals you'll ever see here today. West Coast Eagles, Peter Sumic, the full forward. That one, a snap from 53 metres.
Remarkable.
And there is a breeze going down to that end. There's no doubt about that. I see some of the paper drifting down that way. But Sumic, that was an enormous kick. You long distances when you sometimes put the ball across the boot with that snap action, but fantastic effort.
So the margin is now just 3 points from the middle. Hall working hard at the bottom, almost threw it out. An attempted soccer off the ground by Gowes is not effective. Jarman wanted to go away, but it's going to come back, and Gowes will get the free kick. Gives away the hand pass. The Hawks need something to steady them as Allen goes in towards Dunstall. Off his one hand it goes. Brennan got a touch, but only for a moment. Hudson working hard at the bottom, can't get it out. McKenna there also. Eventually sneaks out the back door to Worsfold, who gives it to Kemp. The Eagles tightening up. Still on the outer side and still kept in play. West Coast Eagles have scored the last 4 goals. Pritchard off to Allen. It's a high, a floating kick. Paul Deere, front spot, couldn't take it. Brennan heads for the wide open spaces. Let's relieve some of the pressure, he says. Matera, he's quick, so too is Pritchard, but he's got the break, and Heaney does the shepherding work.
And just within the required distance, I'd suggest, too.
And they do a bit more shepherding after the ball went over the boundary line.
Pushing and shoving continues, but the bottom line is we have a throw-in.
It was good hard play, though, by Brett Heady, providing that shepherd, Dennis.
Yes, great defence by the Eagles, too.
They didn't raise an arm, either player, as they went for each other, Pritchard or Heady.
Harding, who's doing well in this term, gets it down. Jenke on his knees. Greg Deere out of bounds. It'll be thrown in. Hawthorn lead by 3 points. 15.5 minutes remaining till half-time. A terrific first elimination final. The winner goes through to play Geelong in the second semi. Langdon smashes it out of bounds, like spiking a volleyball. It'll be thrown in again. Down towards left half forward. Suddenly the crowd have found voice as well. Harding works his way in front. Goes with the left hand. Taylor in all sorts of trouble. Langdon goes in with courage. Could have almost been holding it though. He showed courage initially, but had to get it out. And Taylor's got the free kick. What a bargain in the draft he was. Acquired for a 5th round selection from Fitzroy. Playing his 18th game this afternoon. He got it across to McGuinness. McGuinness goes long to half forward. Paul Deere, the man they have difficulty matching up with. That was a strong grab. Deere will kick from inside the centre square. His side leads by 3 points. He's told to play on. Again, Dunstall goes very wide, but he's got a break. He slipped. That was bad luck. Brennan came over the top and fisted away. Langford against the boundary line. Escorts it across. Mainwaring got him. It'll be thrown in. Anderson getting ready to come on then. It'll be interesting to see who they bring off. The runner is out. Maybe Hudson. He's normally the one they go to. Thrown in. Jakovic got it down. Mainwaring in front, close to the boundary line. There's going to be an Eagles free. Mainwaring rewarded for courage. He's a terrific player.
Well, it's Gary Ayres, I think, coming off for the Hawks, and of course he's had a lot of injuries this season with that torn Achilles.
Flattened to Taylor. Back towards the centre wing once again. Allen may have given a bit of a nudge. Mainwaring is at the back, and he's quite content to see it over the line.
He's coming off now, Gary Ayres. Dean Anderson about to come on.
Been a tough season for Gary Ayres. Bernie said, troubled by persistent injury. As Dean Anderson comes on, play goes on. Pike has it on the defensive side of centre. Goes to the outer side and Harding. Big man to Heady. 3 points the margin. Heady towards Sumic territory. Well, nothing would surprise once Sumic gets near the ball at the moment, because he has produced some very special goals. Jenke shrugging the tackle. Works hard. Gives it to Tony Hall at halfback. Across to Condon somewhat dangerously as Lewis was very quick to hold him up.
50.
Collins. And Andy Collins will come down to the centre with that 50. He's had a great year, Andy Collins. McKenna marks virtually unopposed.
Matera out of defence towards half forward. Not a good kick, but effective. This is Langdon. Lewis demanding the ball. He ignores that. Goes for distance. I think Sumic was the target, but it falls well short of that man. Taken by Platten, who pulls it back across his body. Hawthorn 3-1 here. Jarman, support outside, ignores that now. Not a particularly good kick down towards half-forward. Anderson with courage. Yes, Anderson is hurt. Meantime, the hand pass from Paul Deere favoured McKenna. He's in trouble. Mainwaring goes against the flow. McKenna, they worked it nicely. Pike. Momentum has certainly shifted in this game. Evans on the wing. Hawthorn in front. But the Eagles looking the better team. Stark contrast to the first term. Evans towards half forward. Hetty was up. It falls behind. Collins. Now Langford drives it towards the outer side. The Hawks can make something of this. Hall gets it away to Allen. Allen chips it out wide. Pritchard. Outside him is Allen demanding the ball. He ignores that though and pops it inside the 50. Here comes Dunstall again. Splendid attempt to mark. Couldn't get it at the second attempt. Hudson goes off the ground, but it was out of bounds.
Almost a great mark there to Jason Dunstall. The Hawks really having trouble getting the ball down to the forward line in this second quarter.
Under 11.5 minutes remaining.
And probably injury problems too, a worry with Hawthorn too, with Ayres and Mew on the bench.
And Anderson coming on and just copping one. Hawthorn official will be hoping that he will be okay as McDonald's kick is high. Dunstall's come a long way out, but he leaves it for Gowes, who just chips inside 50. Anderson is there. Leaves it for Hall now. He can kick amazing goals. Now he gives it to Dean Anderson, but he bends one back with a check side only to miss.
Lazy kick by Gowers initially, wasn't it? They had two men on in the pocket, and the kick was wide.
So behind to the Hawks. In fact, they've been well held this quarter. They've kicked only 2 behinds. Whilst the Eagles have added 3 goals, 1. Mitchell 1. Now Pritchard paddling the ball along in front. They lock it up. And another bounce. 4 points the margin, favouring Hawthorn. For one of these teams, the season is going to end in a couple of hours' time.
Just under 10.5 minutes till half-time. Evans couldn't control the ball. Matera, who's been very good, just pushes it across the boundary line. Had his problems initially with Pritchard, but has got on top. 4-8 to 4-4. The shadows of the stand. Deere hooks it behind. Worsfold with dash. At close quarters to Kemp. To Pike. No one to kick to. He'll need to pull it back. Pike put down. It will be a relayed free kick. Langdon's got it. Plays on immediately. Waterman, his natural kicking foot, goes looking for Sumic. Hetty's in front, got a hand to it. Hawthorn stay on their feet. This is Langford, needs support. He's got it from Collins towards the wing and Pritchard. Harding coming back on him. Pritchard running out of space, and the ball bounces out of bounds. Pike's okay, shaken, but on his feet. Boundary throw in on the wing. The Hawks led by 21 points at quarter time. Harding in front. Evans. He's going to get a free kick. No, it's going to be a Hawthorn free. Off the ball, it's going to McGuinness against Harding, I think. So Scott McGuinness has this ball on the wing. Down towards half forward. Hudson works his way in front. Condon flies from behind. McKenna slipped over. McDonald keeps it alive. Kemp wishes he hadn't, in all sorts of trouble. Hudson cleverly. Hall across to Platten. Goes looking for Dunstall. Awkward half volley. He tried to deflect it on. He succeeded. Anderson in deep trouble. Deere slung as he kicked. Out of bounds on the full in the pocket. Great defence by the Eagles.
Yes, and a good little deflection there, wasn't it, from Jason Dunstall? And he was under enormous pressure. The kick from Johnny Platten just dropping short. He's a very good team player on that forward line, Jason Dunstall.
Waterman brings it back into play. Paul Deere flew a little early. It doesn't matter. He's got support in Tony Hall. Dean Kemp being called back on the mark.
That's interesting. As he went over.
Stabs in towards Dunstall. This time 2 metres in front of Brennan.
It's also interesting there, Dennis. There's about 5 Eagles players just congregating around the centre-half back position. None of them could bother getting into that hole there, filling it. It was left wide open for Jason Dunstall to run into.
Dunstall kicked 1 in the first quarter. But his team has been goalless in the second so far. From 46 metres out, Dunstall shoots for goal and he's broken the drought.
It's your turn to wash up.
10 points the margin, just over 7 minutes remaining in the first half here at Subiaco. McIntosh goes off the ground only as far as Jenke. Does well. Finds a bit of space to Taylor. Pulls it round his body. McKenna eyes only for the football, takes a gutsy mark. Off he goes to Evans. Oh, dangerously so to Kemp. Put him under the hammer and he's lost it. Anderson, only been on the ground a short time. McGuinness over the top towards Jarman. An uncharacteristic error by Jarman as he spills it, but then tries to make amends. Only as far as Matera. Was he held when not in possession? The umpire said no, play on. Soccer tactics. Pritchard a chance. No, he fights over it with teammate Anderson. McDonald too slow to get a kick. It's tough, it's hard, but it's fair. Lewis, with him is Collins. Now Heady. Lewis and Collins on behind play. McIntosh still outside 50. Lewis and Collins still going. Langdon's going to go. He can stroll into the goal. He's run too far.
Oh, no.
He's run too far.
Oh, has he messed that up, Carl Langdon? Oh, that's a tough decision.
That is a tough decision, Dennis is right. That is tough.
Yes, it was very tough, but the umpire right on the spot counting down, Sandy. So he could have just touched the ball to the ground, made sure that Chris Langford came out or ran right in, but well, that has really messed it up, hasn't it?
There's Taylor out of defence. Close to the boundary line. Harding, good strong grab, body to body. 5-8 Hawthorn, 4-4 the Eagles. You get the feeling the Hawks have steeled themselves. The challenge was coming. So far they've repelled it. Awkward kick from Harding. Setting Kemp a task now. Could have been held without it. Still he goes. Langdon comes on the lead. He's marked it. A chance to make amends. He can run as he comes in to kick as far as he likes. He probably went 14 last time. Carl Langdon, important kick this one. The margin is 10 points. Has it got the carry? Yes, it has. Simic was pushed in the back in any case.
Definitely, it was a push out, wasn't it?
That was simply a push in the back because I think Langford had given up. A non-decision. Langford's got the ball. 5-8 Hawthorn are behind the West Coast Eagles, who go to 4-5. Remarkable. McGuinness takes a very good mark.
He's at half-back, McGuinness. Drifting play up towards centre. Poor kick out. The only one there was Guy McKenna. Game number 100 for McKenna. It's been a good performance by him. Lewis and Collins, well, they've been at it in the last 10 minutes.
Well, why isn't that 50? Like, Lewis took the mark. Collins has immediately grabbed him around the neck and dragged him to the ground. And nothing from it. Well, I can't work it out either.
Couple of explosive characters there. Lewis goes short to Harding. And he'll go back to him because Collins is minding the two of them at the moment. Now Platten comes over to cover Harding to make sure that it doesn't happen again, but the bird's flying. Goes into the pocket this time. Heady. Great skills to get boot the ball so quickly, but poorly directed straight to Deere. Off to Platten. Over Lewis he goes. Back towards centre wing. Anderson and Turley. Jarman off hands. Read it beautifully. Did good roving, but now gets caught by Kemp. Great pressure by both sides. Platten's kick. Again, poorly directed. McKenna takes the mark. Quickly on to Turley. He'll have to be smart. He's not. Gets caught. Loses it to Anderson. And the umpire said you can have a free kick.
Free going to Anderson, too high. The umpire indicating on that occasion.
So he takes it. Worsfold. With him Hudson. Hudson a little chip forward. He was being held then, Hudson. Mitchell White close to the boundary line. what finals football's all about. No big pardons. There's no tomorrows for one team today.
Here's Platten taken high. He'll get the free. No doubting that. Just for the moment, the crowd thinking the umpiring a bit rich. 5-8 to 4-5. Blatant free kick to Johnny Platten, the champ. Hard against the boundary line. He'll take a good kick from here. That is an excellent kick. Magnificent kick. Right on the goal line. They contest. It's a goal.
BP's research and
pulled away again now, as you can see, to lead by 15 points. They were challenged. Now it's up to the Eagles as Turley gets it from Pike. Boots it out wide. Matera with pace arrives first. Takes on Jenke. Jenke hangs on a long time. No doubting that one. Advantage is paid. Lewis has got it. Kicks it down towards full forward. Didn't look. It comes behind though. Subiaco open goal. Oh, terrific game. Subiaco has 4. The Eagles are 5-5 and the Hawks are 6-8.
It's a great effort by Peter Subiaco. The Eagles very fortunate to have him playing at full forward and be really struggling without his great effort there. 4 goals is a fantastic effort out of 5, and 2 are the best goals you're ever likely to see in this second quarter. Those 2 snapshots from Peter Subiaco, real gems, and he's really keeping him in the game at the moment.
All 4 of Subiaco's goals have come in this second quarter. Been a wonderful performance. We go back to the middle. Harding down to Kemp. Sets the Eagles alight to half forward. At the back is Ben Allen. With him is Mainwaring. Lewis comes to meet him. Crunch. Collins. From the back pocket. Goes short up towards the half back line. Could have been some holding on. The umpire elected to let it go. As Platten is on the outer side. He loses it. Oh, but look at that tackling. It is fierce. That was McDonald applying the pressure on that occasion.
Brilliant tackle, wasn't it? Superb. Certainly find another gear at finals time, the Hawthorn side. It'll be magnificent again today.
It's on centre wing. Harding goes it alone. Still down there with the football, and the big man will have to get up and do it all again. He won the Simpson medal, of course, last year. Crowd nudging 40,000, no doubt. Kemp can't juggle it behind his back. McDonald slung viciously. It spills to Evans, who tumbles a punt down to full forward. A chance perhaps again for the Eagles. Was there a nudge? Langdon. Oh, he's kicked another miraculous goal. They're kicking them from everywhere here at Subi. If it's not Subiaco, it's Big Carl. They trail by 3 points, 6-5 to 6-8.
Well, I think we'll add that one to the list, Dennis. That was one of the best goals we've seen for a long time. 2 of Subiaco's in this term. And look at that goal from Langdon. A banana kick, wrong side of the ground, under enormous pressure. The skills of the players nowadays just exquisite. That was terrific from Carl Langdon.
Well, 6-8 to 6-5, Hawthorn lead. Evans has it knocked away. Langdon has inspired himself. Down goes Kemp. Waterman crashing through. It'll come back. It's going to be a free kick to Kemp. Well, in that last exchange, the umpires missed a couple. I thought McDonald taken high on the wing initially, and then Subiaco pushed in the back. Here's Kemp. Long bomb. Down towards the kickoff line. McIntosh hands to it. Jenke comes away though. Ill-directed. Harding slipped over. Evans an opportunity. Gowers goes off the ground. Only as far as Langdon, who lost it. He knows it's somewhere behind him. He falls on top of it.
So he just looked up at the critical moment there, Carl Langdon.
So a bounce just about in the middle of the ground. That really will be it, because there's the siren. It is half-time here at Subiaco. What is a grand game of football. Hawthorn leads 6-8-44. The Eagles are 6-5-41. And for our viewers in Victoria, we farewell them for the moment for 7 Nightly News and look forward to you joining us for the third quarter. News that at half-time Hawthorn leads 6-8 to 6-5. John Rogers, we're seeing a mighty game of football.
Well, Alan Joyce believes that his side won the first 2 quarters of that game, Sandy, and he believes that they can probably win it in this 3rd quarter. They're kicking with a 3 or 4 goal breeze. The secret is to shut down the Eagles' runners. They must stop the Eagles' run, and they must get the ball out of the centre. He wants them to run it out of defence better, and the forwards must play in front. Brooksy, I can hear a lot of noise coming from the Eagles' rooms.
A very animated Mick Malthouse. Likewise, he believes this is where the game's going to be won and lost, the 3rd quarter. He wants more from the forwards, in particular the half forwards, the likes of Brett Heddy. He's also called for Chris Mainwaring to have a dip and get amongst the action.
Right, many thanks to John Rogers and Neil Brooks. Here we go. The second half at Subiaco. It's do or die today. One team will drop out. At the moment, it's the Hawks who lead by 3 points. Gowes had a good first half, and he belts it down towards the half-forward line. Worsfold is there, puts his body over the top and tries to sneak it out the back. Platten also did likewise. Waterman is caught. Gowes still going, applies a tackle on White. McDonald is there. Jakovic. Anderson off the ground. Oh. And look at that spinning ball. Go away for one behind. 6'9", plays 6'5". Conditions here in Perth excellent for football. An overcast day, but certainly plenty of sunshine, and really we've been blessed. And to cap it all off, we've got a great struggle between these two sides going on. Matera on centre wing. Oh, does it beautifully, Peter Matera. Away he goes with a couple of bounces. Lewis assists in the shepherding. Bang, he wants Sumich. Langford applies the spoil. It's good. He butters up for a quick kick. Back towards the middle. Now the Hawks have the numbers, or do they? Harding comes in strongly. Hawthorn may muck this up, or they may get out of it. They do through Gowes. A hurried left foot kick down towards Dunstall. Traps it well off to Hudson. He needs to do something special. He does with a long kick, and it's just touched on the line. Oh, what a thrilling start for this 3rd quarter. Hudson having his chance, but
what about that brilliant individual performance along the wing here by Matera?
Sensational. And don't forget the spoil of Langford.
Yep. Some of the best ball handling you're ever likely to see there from Peter Matera.
Like a gazelle. Here's White. Finds Kemp at half-back. He'll run on. Close to the boundary line. It's a real free kick. Hall arriving late on Kemp, so Turley's got the ball right on the wing. The Eagles working up into a breeze now towards half-forward. Langdon was shepherded out, was he? Not according to the umpire. Jenke squares the ball. Pritchard. Deer's across the ground. He goes to Deer. Mainwaring is closing. Deer holds it. Plays on. Oh, into the path of Allen. Harding will need to go. Well done by Allen. Gets it up to Langford. Langford kicks it inside the attacking 50. McDonald on his chest to Hudson. 30 metres out, Hudson. And he's missed. Well, I think Dunstall had a word to McDonald, perhaps telling him he should have gone back and taken the kick. As it was, Hawthorn 6'11". The Eagles are 6'5".
No doubt he should have gone back and had a shot from about 30 metres out, just steadied there. Inexperience showing out with Alex McDonald.
One straight kick in it. Pike taking the kick out. Condon on the mark. Now he leaves it for Hudson. Pike's kick towards Langdon. Used his rump well to edge out Taylor, and just with the outstretched arms took a good mark. To centre wing. Plenty of flyers. McIntosh, what a mark.
He's very strong overhead, Ashley McIntosh. The mark's been paid. The player's not too sure about the decision, but Ashley McIntosh, very strong overhead. Tremendous young player.
Left foot drop punt towards the 50-metre line. Jenke got front spot, and he held it at the battle of the two number ones, Jenke and Heddy. Oh, Lewis and Collins are playing a very interesting game today. Back to centre wing. Pike, the effective spoiler. Langdon claimed it well. Off he goes to Evans. A hurried left foot kick puts them inside 50, but only as far as Ben Allen. Jenke and Heddy having a little bit of a how-do-you-do behind play. Pritchard in the meantime marks. He wants to go on over the top to Gowes. He does. A chance to run here. Up towards half-forward. The pass is good. And the mark is taken by Tony Hall. Outside 50. Too far out. So he chips short. That's better. Dunstall in front.
Heddy's off the ground too for the Eagles. And Peter Wilson back on. A couple of ordinary efforts there from Brett Heddy in the forward line, allowing Ray Jenke to take two uncontested marks. Mick Malthouse has removed him from the ground.
Dunstall going for his 142nd goal of the year. 2 today. Kicking from 43 metres. A drop punt. They have just snuck him home. He has.
BP's research and testing often leaves an impression on our visitors.
4th floor, aviation fuel research. 7th floor, motorsport fuel and oil testing.
And we put this research to use in a very practical place. Your local BP service station.
Pizza for Ted King? Top floor.
Top floor, space research.
BP, on the move.
So the margin 12 points now. Hall, a very high kick down towards half forward. McDonald in front. White, the bit of recovery. Worsfold keeps it in. No, not according to the boundary umpire. Tight call. He was in good position.
Oh, I don't know whether it was out, Dennis, having a look at that replay.
Platten had the ball and lost it. Hall's over it now, shovels it out. Socket off the ground by Condon. Brilliantly taken by Pike to White. White towards the wing. Jenke again.
Well, the Eagles players playing on Jenke, they're really worrying about using the body instead of going for the ball. It happened again on that occasion with Wilson.
Evans favoured by the kick. Hall, though, with great courage across the face of the pack. Didn't complete the mark, and as a result, we've got a ball up. So bounce down towards half forward for the Hawks, who lead 7-11 to 6-5. The vital third term. The loser out. The winner plays Geelong in the second semi-final next weekend. The ball's out of bounds. It'll be thrown in. There's Gowers in the foreground, one of 7 Hawks to play every game this season. Jankovic, haven't seen a lot of him today. Opposed to Paul Deere. McKenna, quick hands. Pike has the kick charge down by Condon, taken by Platten. No representation for Hawthorn. Turley takes the mark, plays on now to Mitchell White. Don't know about that. White's in trouble, dragged off it. As a result, a chance for the Hawks. McDonald left it behind. Now he's in trouble. Could be holding the ball.
Oh, he had a fortnight, didn't he, McDonald?
The Eagles made a bad mistake, and Hawthorn repaid them in kind. Now Matera wants to go. It's going to be 50. Matera picks up the ball, and I think helped the umpire make his decision. So they step out the 50. We haven't seen too many mistakes in this game. We saw a couple there back to back. So Matera kicks inside the attacking 50, intended for Sumich. The Hawks around the ball. Wilson crashed into the pack. Langford did well. Got it to Platten, who decides to run it away.
A couple of bounces. He was legged. And he'll take the free kick on the defensive side of centre.
Well, at least he held him up there, Peter Sumich.
Yep.
Really had his hamstring tested out too there, trying to catch Johnny Platten.
Platten goes from one end of the square to the other. It's a long kick in towards half forward. Jakovic's hand pass is a little proppy. Pressure on Waterman, and he can't take it. May get a free kick being held when he didn't have possession, and he will. Quickly on with the hand pass to Pike. Over the top to Evans. A tentative bounce as he crosses the centre. He has another. Around Deere. Kick is wide. Big ask for Lewis. With him was Jenke. Both tried to mark. Matera is there. He was held when he didn't have it, and he'll take the free kick.
He's a magnificent player, Peter Matera. There's no doubt about that. He works both in defence and into attack. They're calling for a 50-metre penalty. But, the umpire telling Chris Lewis to get out of the way.
In no uncertain terms. Raw Pike's off. Just sneaks it home for a goal.
Wheels magazine had this to say about the new Magna wagon. It's to meet the exacting world quality standards that the wagon is so well designed and so well built. It will challenge Japanese, American and European rivals on their terms and on their turf. Score 1 for Australia.
.6 points the difference then. Deere gets it down. Waterman runs onto it. Boots it out very wide. Foot race up the ground. Mainwaring arrives first. Has it about 70 metres from goal. Centering kick. Kemp in space. He can run in now. Settles. Measures the kick from 45. It's home. Scores a level.
Dean Kemp kicking his first goal for the afternoon. That's some wonderful running football by the Eagles. It's really their trademark. They get the players running into attack. And Chris Mainwaring is very quiet early in the game. Was moved off the wing off Gowers. Playing on the forward line now on Ben Allen. And it was terrific run there from Dean Kemp providing that opportunity.
53 points each in a thriller here at Subi. Deere trying to get it out of the middle. Jarman a short kick. McKenna's at the bottom of the pack. Jarman finally does with a high kick. Condon underneath it. Deere there also. Jarman can produce something special, and he needs to here for Hawthorn, but he just drifts it across the face and one behind the result. But the deadlock is broken. 7-12 plays 8-5. Darren Jarman, 1 goal, 3 for the afternoon. The goal he kicked was quite superb as Brennan floats it back into play. Pushed down in front. This could be dangerous for the Eagles. Condon leaves it for Dunstall. He's caught, and well caught. The Eagles have the numbers, and McKenna goes back to Worsfold. And the West Coast steady. Worsfold finds Mitchell White on the half-back flank.
White plays on quickly. Langdon on the lead. Look out, boundary umpire. Whoops. Give way to Langdon this week as he boots it down towards the wing. Lewis up in front. Got his fingertips to it. Collins in desperate trouble. Pushed in the back, says the umpire. Collins will get the free. Here's Collins. Andy Collins up towards the wing. Boots it down towards half forward. Jakovic, the flyer from behind, fisted away from Paul Deere. Waterman has been steadfast, gets it across to Langdon. Matera up in front. Came off his hands and across the boundary line. Jenke and Wilson escort it. 8-5 the Eagles. 7-12 Hawthorn. The Hawks by a solitary point. Langdon. Waterman again. Gowers did brilliantly. He didn't buy the dummy. Coming through strongly, McKenna. Shrug 2 tackles. Lewis. Harding needs to kick and does. Down towards half forward. How will it bounce? Oh, brilliantly trapped Mainwaring to Kemp. He's 60 metres out from goal. He read it superbly. He read it superbly. He looked up and he saw Sumic go one way then the other. He held the ball, bought some time, and Sumic running into space has marked about 35 metres out. This for the lead.
Yes, Kemp very important in this quarter for the West Coast Eagles. Some brilliant running football. Well trapped there from Chris Mainwaring, getting the ball back to Dean Kemp.
He kicks a goal. The Eagles will lead by 5 points. I fancy he's missed. He has. It's all square again at Subi.
14.5 minutes remaining in this vital third quarter. Nothing in this game. It is a ripper. Langford back towards the middle. Good strong mark taken by Taylor. Off to Allen, who heads down to the half-forward line. Evans and Platten both there. Evans trying to take the mark. Dunstall applies the tackle and he locks it up. 35 metres directly in front of the Hawthorn scoring zone. They've kicked 7-12 for the afternoon. The Eagles have 8-6. Jakovic doing the ruck work. Platten can't trap it cleanly. Jarman looking for it but can't take it. Jakovic will get another chance to come away with a couple of bounces down towards centre wing. Tried to go short to Langdon. It wasn't a good kick. Taylor. Pritchard on the half volley. Wilson takes him out of it. Takes him out illegally.
Well, I thought it was a good bunch, Andy.
Yes, I thought so too.
Pretty ordinary decision.
So Pritchard, floating kick. Allen can run on. It gets away from Kemp. Down towards the half-forward line. The mark not taken. Fisted clear. Back towards Collins. He's on the right half-forward flank, Andy Collins. A tentative bounce as Kemp is shepherded out. Now to Dean Anderson. Anderson heads in towards full forward. A big pack of players, and it's hammered over by John Worsfold by one behind. Oh, it's tight. but it's good, Bernie, isn't it?
Oh, tremendous game here at Subiaco.
That's what it's all about.
A good quarter by the Eagles, actually, because really Hawthorn needed to do some scoring in this third quarter to set up some sort of leeway coming into the final term.
The lead is only a point. Evans has ripped off the football. The umpire says you can play on. Hudson does some good shepherding work for Deer. In towards Dunstall he goes, and this time he takes the mark in front.
There's some good work behind play there too. The good tackle by Paul Hudson, setting this chance up for Jason Dunstall.
Evans wanting his left side and paying the penalty.
3 goals to Dunstall today. 1 so far in each quarter.
This is that tackle we were talking about, and the pass coming from Greg Deer, who's tried pretty hard in the ruck today for Hawthorn.
Dunstall shoots, and Dunstall goals.
Okay, I admit it. I never used to lift a finger to help scour the griller, scrub the pots, scrape the plates and shine the glasses. But not anymore.
Come clean. Get a dish, Lex.
For real value for money on your Bali holiday, ask a travel agent for this brochure from Garuda, Indonesia. It tells you all about Bali, even some places you could bump into some famous people.
Hawthorn by 7 points. There's the time remaining in this third term. Crashing through Gowers. Pike did brilliantly, comes away with it, goes looking for Lewis and finds him. Chris Lewis about 35 metres out from goal. Quiet again today, but a chance here. He should get the distance.
He can turn things around though, Chris Lewis, can't he? His form has been very ordinary in the last few rounds leading up to the finals. And really, if he was any other player, he probably wouldn't have earned a place in this side. But Malthouse has shown some faith in Chris Lewis. He did play 2 games with Claremont in the local waffle. Now lining up from 45 metres.
Important kick. It's close. Behind. The margin is 6 points. Langford drives it to the outer side. Oh, great mark, Taylor. Plays on from the prone position to Allen. Rather untidy hand pass. Kemp, good use of the body. Pritchard went down and the ball spills across the boundary line.
Well, the first hand pass was ordinary there from Jason Taylor. He wasn't aware of the pressure that was about to be applied by the Eagles players, and really handballed to a player under a lot of pressure.
Deer, who's done very well, hooks it wide, taken by Matera. Hugs the boundary line with the kick. Collins in the road. Plays on immediately. Jenke, who's been valuable in this term, breaks away from halfback. Has a bounce. Gives it to Allen, who thinks about going back to Jenke. And a rather untidy kick. Jakovic goes back with great courage. Does well. Now confronted. Lays it off. And Pike comes away from halfback.
Goes short to Dean Kemp. Kemp's had a busy quarter. Shrugs the Platten tackle. Goes back to Pike. In towards Mainwaring, and he marks on centre wing. Well, Bernie flying over here in great comfort with Ansett. We thought this was going to be a titanic struggle, and we haven't been let down.
No, we certainly have not. This is real finals type pressure.
Mainwaring, a high, long kick to half forward. McGuinness, a fine mark.
Oh, terrific.
Well, we're seeing a couple of Eagles forwards just not flying for the marks, Dennis. They're not contesting across half forward. Peter Wilson replaced Brett Heady. Heady was doing the same thing, but Wilson just trying to use the body and not flying for the ball on that occasion also.
Scott McGuinness's kick goes up towards the wing. Deer across to his brother. Now Ben Allen. Chance to get away from Evans with a hurried kick towards the half-forward line. No mark to Anderson. McKenna playing his 100th today. Goes across to Turley and puts him under plenty of pressure as the ball spills over the line. And the ladies must wait before they're called into action through another goal. Michael Malthouse getting another taste of finals action and hoping it will be a little more successful than last year. Matera, was he held? Yes, said the umpire, and Jarman's not happy with that at all. Peter Matera, well, he's like a bolt of lightning. Very, very exciting player, Bernie.
Yeah, he's just handballing out in front of him. Well, the umpire had blown the whistle well before that final little incident there with Johnny Platten.
Collins defends well. Jarman again, but a poor kick.
straight to Guy McKenna.
Game of defences at the moment. McKenna comes away. Pike played well since half-time. Mainwaring. Harding's on in the middle. He ignores that. He kicks towards half-forward. Wilson bounces off his chest. Jenke the better recovery. Clever handball too. Pritchard at close quarters. Down went Allen. They drive it forward once more. Platten inside the attacking 50. Reaching over the top was White. Worsfold. Another attack. Repel. Matera on the outer side. Decides to run at them. Mitchell White storming up the middle. Releases Matera. Runs through centre. Probing kick inside the 50. All Eagles. Oh, a lack of talking. It was headed for the chest of Subic, who suckers up the ground and misses. And now Lewis wants to fight Collins. Again. Still. Well, Lewis went for the one-hander. I suppose with the crowd roaring, it's hard to hear if Subic, in fact, was calling. Still, it's done now. Langford to the outer side. Langdon is there. Fisting away from Taylor. Harding. Strong tackle by Taylor. Well done. Platten. Allen in trouble. Well done again by Taylor. Stood up in the tackle. Got it to Greg Deere. Taken by Platten. There's no second chances here in all respects. Kemp dragged Platten down. Rewarded with the kick. Kemp across the ground. Lewis in open space. Inside the 50, Chris Lewis.
That's Ray Jenke caught out on that occasion. He was giving Chris Lewis 15 to 20 metre start.
Lewis got the ball from Kemp. He was a remarkable story. Drafted in '89 simply to make up the numbers. He was overlooked by 116 selections, Dean Kemp. He is a key in the outcome of this game. Hetty is back on. Lewis goes goalward. Great kick.
She walked off the streets and into his arms.
Well, color me happy. There's a sofa in here for two.
Tonight, Toyota presents the movie event of '92, the Australian box office mega hit. Starring Richard Gere and sensational Julia Roberts in her Oscar-nominated role.
Who ordered pizza?
For the very first time on television. The best feel-good movie in a decade. 8:30 tonight on 7.
A point in it with under 7 minutes remaining in this third quarter. Kemp's kick is wide out, trying to accommodate Matera, but good interception by the Hawks through Jarman. See down towards Anderson. An effective spoil, however, by McKenna. Sees it over the line.
He's been good this quarter also, Sandy, too.
Yep.
Guy McKenna started off on the interchange bench, playing his 100th game today for the West Coast Eagles.
Here's the throw in again. Jakovic to do the ruck work with Paul Deere. Platten at the bottom. Somehow gets it out. It's going to have to come back. Jarman was off. But it will come back to the rack, John Platten. The Eagles lead by a point. Dunstall is the target, and he's also the meat in the sandwich. The recovery now, Hudson. A hurried left foot snap and a great attempt to snap. What a goal! Well, we're seeing some marvellous goals this afternoon, and you can put that one down with the best of them. So the Hawks answer again, Bernie.
Yes, as Dean Anderson, or is it Condon? Condon off for Hawthorn, and Alex McDonald back on. But we see that goal there from Hudson. His opponent, Johnny Worsfold, put himself back in that hole trying to stop the lead from Jason Dunstall, and copped a pretty severe knee in the back.
5 points the margin. Deere wins it. Waterman can't trap it cleanly. Thrown out by Tony Hall over the back. Jakovic a little tentative, and he couldn't take it. Oh, out it comes to Gowes from inside 50, but his kick is too short. And the mark, tightly marked in defence, taken by Brennan.
Worsfold is hurt. He stayed in defence there, so in effect they're playing one short at the moment down there, the Eagles. Turley up the ground, looking for Hetty, gathers the half volley, kicks to open space. This will be interesting. Two outstanding players, Mainwaring and Collins. It was the former hooking it back for Matera. 45 metres out, and he's kicked a miraculous goal.
If it only saves you once a year, it's a good year. So ensure safe driving with Goodyear's Safety Savers. This safety service gives you a grease and oil change, 5 wheel balances, brake inspection and adjustment, and a 20-point safety check, normally $115, now only $65. And Goodyear Performance tyres from only $98. So ring your Goodyear retailer on 132343.
Good tires, good service, good people, Goodyear.
Wherever you may be viewing this around the country, you're being treated to one of the great games. The seesawing struggle continues. Allen tries to take it out of the middle, but the tackle is fierce. Evans may have been a little high on the young man, and he will take it on the defensive side of centre. Quickly off to Waterman with a hand pass. From a standing start, Waterman pumps a left foot high ball towards McIntosh. Platten waiting down in front. The best spot for a rover. Down towards Hudson, who just kicked that marvellous goal. Ayres is in trouble. He's going to be in real trouble here as he's bumped out of it by Waterman. Eagles have the numbers. Worsfold to Jakovic, but he's giving ground. Not out of it yet. Mitchell White to Worsfold. He says, I'm heading straight for the boundary line. But that's the pressure that both sides are applying on each other. Great chase by Hawthorn there. Outnumbered, and they still worked overtime.
Jakovic really hasn't looked sure of himself today, has he, playing in defence for the Eagles, Dennis?
No. From the throw-in. At the back is Allen. Kemp's on his hammer and he's got him, but he may have him illegally. The advantage is paid to Anderson, who can goal, and he has. So Dean Anderson replies, it's his first for the afternoon. A steadying one for Hawthorn. With just over 4 minutes remaining, Bernie, in this third quarter.
Yes, as the Eagles skipper, Johnny Worsfold, comes off the ground after receiving a knee in the hip, I think, after he filled in that hole trying to stop that lead from Jason Dunstall. Wilson back on to pick up Paul Hudson. And what a contest this is at Subiaco.
Well, you've got to say Paul Deere has a remarkable record against the Eagles. He manufactured that last goal, just laying it off to the path of his rover. We're back in the middle. Gowers, probing kick. Dunstall lost it in the sun. White's got it in front now, in trouble. Jakovic couldn't control it. Jarman playing for a kick. Away comes Wilson, though, full-chested. Gets it across to Harding. What a game we're seeing. Harding goes to half-forward, ill-directed. McGuinness held in the tackle by McIntosh and slung, but no free kick. Picked up by Mainwaring to the pocket. Lewis in front, over the top McDonald. Lewis the better recovery. Strong tackle Langford. And across the boundary line they go. The margin is 5 points. Chris Mew won't be back. He's on the bench looking on. Hawthorn 73, the Eagles 68. Just over 3 minutes remaining till three-quarter time. Jenke has been strong, comes over the top and gets it out of bounds. Ray Jenke. And they've got to go again for a final term. If I think back to last year, from memory, the margin at three-quarter time was 13 points. The Eagles were finishing on the breeze that day, and they lost. Here's Evans. Centering kick. Sumic wrestles. Langford did well. It ricochets back to him. And the veteran runs it out. Well played. Langford. Awkward one, though, for Allen. Socked off the ground by Kemp. Effectively. Turley running goalward. Steps it out. Kicks and misses.
Bad miss, that one from Turley. The rebound really catching the Hawthorn defenders out. Dean Kemp again. A kick off the ground, setting it up for Turley.
Chris Langford, a big sigh of relief.
Oh, yeah.
McDonald brings it back into play to Gowers. Completes the 1-2. Towards Langford again. This time he does it well with the one hand in opposition to Sumic. They know each other pretty well, these two. Langford's kick up towards centre wing. Good strong mark. Taken by Jakovic. Who hasn't, as Bernie said, shown that same degree of confidence today in this final. In this cutthroat final. Heady rips it out to Evans. He's gone. Harding, the big man, tries to steal it. Jenke rides him into the ground, but he gets it to Heady, who gets a hurried kick, and he was pushed. So it's going to come back to Brett Heady. We'll get another kick. Under 2 minutes remaining now in this third quarter. The Hawks by 4 points. Heady into the attacking zone. Oh, two Hawthorn players flying. Collins was one. It opens the door for Langdon on towards Evans. Allen stops it. Ben Allen gets a hurry kick out wide. Matera's quick. Collins has recovered. Matera in front. With him is Mainwaring. Jarman could have almost tripped him. Picked up by Pike. A high kick in towards full forward, but no one at home, and the mark is taken by McGuinness. He plays on. There's Greg Deere up towards half-back. The Hawks by 4 points. Deere indecisive. All Eagles ahead of the play. That's good for Hawthorn. It runs out of bounds. It will be thrown in.
There was no doubt that was a trip on Matera, as Sandy called, over at the other side of the ground, Dennis. An obvious free kick missed.
Boundary throw in inside the last minute of the third term. Waterman hooks it behind. Hudson couldn't control it. Now he does. Well played. Gowers dragged off it. Paul Deere. Well charged down by Jakovic, taken by Pike. We're down to 40 seconds. Kick inside the 50. Fisted away down there by McGuinness. Mainwaring has the opportunity but left it behind. Taylor, superbly done. This is McDonald. A high kick back towards left half back. It drifts close to the boundary line, out of bounds on the full. Valiant attempt by Gowers. He marked it well enough, but across the line. So a stroke of luck for the Eagles. Heady has the ball. Centers it. Sumic in front. Langford over the top, but he's penalised.
Oh, maybe lucky, because I don't think Sumic would have been in that contest. Only 8 seconds remaining on the clock in this third quarter.
Well, in the pre-season, they were talking about a player going at the ball, and I'm sure Langford's intention was only the ball.
Well, there's no doubt about that. Sumic propped. Had Langford not touched him, I don't think Sumic would have got near the ball anyway. It was over his head.
As it is, we're down to 8 seconds, and Sumic is kicking at his 5th. From a favoured spot on the ground, and this for the lead. If he gets a goal, the Eagles will lead by 2 points. You couldn't see a better game than this one. Sumic pulls it. You can see better kicks than that one. And behind, so Sumic has 4-4 on the afternoon. There's the siren, 3-quarter time. The stage, my friends, is set for a great final term. Hawthorn 10-13, the West Coast Eagles a 10-10. The loser is out, and the winner goes on to play Geelong in this second semi-final. We have 4-5 in a tight and torrid third quarter. At 3-quarter time, Hawthorn hold a 3-point advantage, 10-13-73. The West Coast at 10-10-70. Of course, all the top sport is coming your way on 7. Who will be the best and fairest in the AFL? Well, you can find out on Monday, September 21st, when we have the counting of votes in the 1992 Brownlow medal. But wherever you may be viewing, just check your local guides for details. And then looking further ahead for petrol heads, we go up to the mountain for the Tooheys 1000 at Bathurst. A day's fantastic action. And again, check your local guides for details. For those people in Melbourne, we have a replay of highlights of the clash between Geelong and Footscray, the qualifying final, coming up after this, so stay tuned for that. But right now there's action and drama aplenty down on the ground with their report at 3-quarter time. Let's go down to the boundary line. Here's John Rogers with Neil Brooks. John.
Yes, Sandy, you're dead right. There is drama aplenty down here. Both coaches exhorting their players on, no doubt. But it was amazingly a quite calm and collected Alan Joyce. He believes the game is there to be won. Harding is tiring. The same message: get the ball out of the forward line, tighten up in defence, and the forwards to play in front. Neil?
Not such a calm Mick Malthouse. He's very animated. He said, you've been here the same as last year. There is actually quite a strong breeze at the Eagles' back. He's called for special efforts from big men Paul Harding and Glenn Jakovic.
Yes, it's going to be tight. It's going to be very tight in this last quarter, Dennis. There's Michael Malthouse coming off the ground. Well, he's been involved in more draws than any other active coach in the AFL, 4 of them. He can't have one today. Of course, they'll play extra time, and that wouldn't surprise. There could be history in the making here this afternoon. 3 points, the margin as we go into the final quarter. Crowd of close to 40,000 have seen one of the great games here in Perth in recent times. This is it. 30 more minutes and the season will end for one of these sides. It may be more than 30. Who knows?
The bounce to start it going. Harding, who's been asked for a big effort, flicks it on to McIntosh, who flicks it further afield to accommodate Mainwaring. Sockers it off the ground down towards Heady. First goal's going to be vital. Jenke stems the tide. He goes out to the other side. Condon had it spent before he got it. Opens the door for Waterman. Back up to the half-forward line once more. Evans, beautifully claimed. Langdon also. The ball spills free. Mainwaring to the outer side. Sockers towards the boundary line. Heady and Collins chase it, but in vain. The Eagles in attack. The opportunity is there for both sides. Who is going to be hungriest of all? Heady's kick is wide and out of bounds on the full. Who do you think, Bernie?
Oh, gee, it's up for grabs.
An easy question, is there?
It's up,
last quarter?
It really is up for grabs. I still fancy the West Coast Eagles. They may be coming home with a slight breeze.
Langford's kick out towards the half-back line. Good take by McGuinness. Proppy hand pass, however. It's going to be okay. Allen's away. The umpire goes to ground, but he recovers. Into half-forward, but only as far as the 50-metre line as Wilson takes the mark.
Wilson at half-back. Short pass. Harding, troubled by the sun initially. Managed to mark it. Made to earn it. Back to Wilson. Towards half-forward. Langdon just getting away from Taylor. Tries to knock it onto his own advantage. Taylor sticking with him. Langdon should be more nimble. Well played by Taylor, but in the end, Langdon. Heady knocked it on. Off the ground. Waterman soccering at about 10 metres. McIntosh back to Langdon. Langdon 65 metres from goal. Goes towards the kick-off line. Sumich and Langford. Langford got a backhander to it. Mainwaring in the grasp. Dragged down there by Jenke. And we've got a whistle. Great defence by that man. Langford reaching in. Another timely fist. So a ball up. 20 metres out from the Eagles' attacking goal. They trail by 3 points. Rucks go at it. Slapped out of there by Taylor. Heady back to goal. On his knees now. Lacking support. The Eagles do have the numbers eventually. Lewis, a little hand pass to Mainwaring. Hard against the boundary line. Chris Mainwaring. That's a magnificent snap. Another goal. No, it hit the post. You almost expect them now. They're behind. So the margin is 2 points. Hawthorn lead, and when they've led at three-quarter time, they've won 13 of 14 matches this season.
Gow's the target. To centre wing. Pritchard he wanted. And McGuinness in front. Gets away from Matera. Oh, Evans with the one hand, McKenna with the one hand, and he does it well.
He's done a good job on shutting down Tony Hall.
Celebrating his 100th game today, McKenna. Floats it into the middle. Harding takes the mark. The Hawks lead by 2 points. Harding's kick is high towards the number ones, Heady and Jenke. The former has it. Brett Heady. He's going to be kicking from just on 50. But he has the chance to give the Eagles the lead.
He's only kicked the one behind today, Brett Heady. Tom Pike making position down that outer flank.
And that's where he's going. Jarman drops back with him. The spoil is effective, and the ball is kept in by Collins. Will go back to Jarman. No, the boundary umpire said it wasn't quite kept in.
If he had got the ball on the first occasion over to Pike, it would have been okay, but he waited far too long and gave Jarman the chance to cover him.
To get there, yep. From the throw, and it's pushed towards the scoring zone. It's socked up the ground by Heady. Yes!
When you've got really serious work to do, it might not be enough to just have a big V6 under the bonnet. That's why Mitsubishi proudly bring you the new Triton 3-litre V6 cab chassis with four-wheel drive. The new Triton V6. Have a think about it. Or as the boys at Mitsubishi might say, please consider.
Brett Heady, playing only his 10th game of the season, has put the Eagles in front. They lead by 4 points. Back in the middle, free kick to the Hawks. Johnny Platten, fearless, was taken high. Plays on immediately. Gowers napped from behind. Mainwaring. Quick turnover. Waterman finds Lewis. That could be a pivotal play.
Yes, I agree, Dennis. That was terrific by Mainwaring.
He recognised the danger there and just closed down on Gowers very quickly to effect this turnover.
Lewis likes his chances. He could be an unlikely hero. He'll kick from outside the 50. Gives it a ride. It's moving right to left. It's through for a minor score. So the margin now is 5 points. 11-12 to 10-13. And Langford to bring it back in.
Langdon, Condon. It's the latter who marks, and he's away. The Hawks need the next goal if they're going to stay in it. McGuinness off to Pritchard, who runs through the centre. Darren Pritchard floats it up towards Hudson, who marks. Now he's within scoring distance. There's no one in the square, and skipper Gary Ayres just points at the goal and says, "That's where you're heading, my boy. Go for it." He's going to be kicking from just inside 50. He's kicked 2 goals, 2 so far today. There's the punt right on 50, and they've just drifted away to the left for one behind. 2 goals, 3.
A great kick for distance, though.
Yes.
That end of the ground, of course, protected by that very big stand.
Brennan Djakovic. Oh dear. There was absolutely no one there. There was no one. So Gowers says thank you very much and goes to the outer side, and Jarman once again. Deere does the shepherding to allow Jarman a stab in towards Dunstall. Was he being held? Djakovic is in front. Gets it across to Brennan. His kick is short but effective to Dean Kemp. Kemp goes towards centre wing, and Carl Langdon can't take the mark. Taylor applies the pressure with an effective spoil. He goes over the top of Langdon, and the ball eventually goes over the line. Not before the push was picked up. So it'll be McIntosh to take it on centre wing.
McIntosh is looking for Heady. Over the top of Jenky. It runs free behind. Down goes Turley. Covered by Condon. Now Platten needs to pick it up. He does. This is Collins just outside the defensive 50. Could almost be a relayed free kick. Nothing doing. It falls forward at the pack. It's taken by Kemp, who's been quite outstanding. And now Matera. 40 metres out. Matera. It bounces through.
BP's research and testing often leaves an impression on our visitors.
4th floor, aviation fuel research. 7th floor, motorsport fuel and oil testing.
And we put this research to use in a very practical place. Your local BP service station.
Pizza for Ted King? Top floor.
Top floor, space research.
BP, on the move.
Now it's the Eagles saying, catch us if you can. Matera bounces one down towards the 50-metre line once again. A tired Raymond Jenky chases after it. Heady chases after him. Good tackle by Sumic. Heady was taken high. Main Waring pumps it long. Back towards Lewis at full forward. With him is McDonald. Great pressure on the youngster now as he tries to defend. Lewis is still going. Lewis could be a hero. One behind.
Pretty well played by McDonald too.
Yes.
Initially.
Yes, but all the attacking in this last quarter being done by the Eagles. The Hawks yet to, well no, Paul Hudson's kicked one behind. That's the only score for the quarter.
Margin is 11 points. Still anyone's game. And just getting a hand to it was Deere as he belts it over the line.
Probably could have taken that mark, Main Waring. Just waiting for it to dribble over the boundary line and get the free kick.
Not forthcoming. So Deere goes back and he does the ruck work. Kemp has it. He loses it. Deere comes away, the big man. Pike, what a bad bounce. Tony Hall, a chance to sneak away from McKenna. He kicks up towards Ayres. The skipper takes a good mark. Riddled with injury, but that doesn't stop him going on. He gives it to Pritchard, who stabs to Dunstall. So the Hawks still alive. Dunstall.
Well, Johnny Platten kicked one from a tighter angle, Sandy, in the second quarter.
Yes.
But it is still a very difficult shot at goal, this one from Jason Dunstall.
Favour Subic before Dunstall in this region, but let's see what he can do. It's an important kick. Oh, he's kicked it beautifully. Oh, what a goal.
What a goal. And the Hawks are still alive. 11-14 plays 12-13. The margin is back to 5 points.
It's a very even performance by Jason Dunstall. He kicked 1 goal in the first, 1 in the second, 2 in the third, and now that magnificent kick there from a couple of metres inside the boundary line, whereas Peter Sumic's 4 goals all coming in the second quarter.
It's been a day of remarkable goals. Jason Dunstall has 5, 144 for this season. There's the time remaining, and the Eagles lead it by 5 points. Waterman in the grasp. Kemp spins out of trouble. Boots it down towards half forward. He's quicksilver as Kemp. Here's Heady, an opportunity. Almost lost it. Well played. Measures the hand pass. McIntosh shrugs a tackle. Matera, he's got a couple today. Fancies himself from here. Pulls it back. It's tight. It's so close. It's a goal.
SIO? I've had an accident. I was worried until I phoned SIO's 24-hour helpline. They phoned me a cab and I had my car towed to an SIO registered repair facility. This is the sign that represents a new standard in quality smash repairs and an exclusive 2-year guarantee. These guys are the best. No need for a second quote, and they'll look after your claim form on the spot. No problems.
Talk to SIO now for comprehensive motor insurance.
Insurance as it should be.
91 plays 80. 11 points, but still plenty of time for either side to win. Harding goes straight to his opposing ruckman, who pumps it down to the half-forward line. Condon, a good mark.
Yeah, that is a very strong mark.
Up against Turley, directly in front. He's going to be kicking from 48 or 49 metres.
There's one thing you can be sure of. This Hawthorn side won't lie down, Sandy. They'll fight it out right to the wire.
Their 11th straight finals campaign. They are the masters. From 48 metres. Condon's drop punt is to the right, but a good, strong mark is taken in the square. And now we can go back through Jason Dunstall to a margin of just 5 points.
That was a terrific
He's
mark.
playing on. He's bending it back. Is it back far enough? I think it may be. Yes. So another goal to Dunstall. It's all happening here at Subiaco. That is 6, is it not, Bernie, to Jason Dunstall?
6 goals straight, in fact, Sandy, to Jason Dunstall, and 145 goals for the season. Only 5 goals off equaling the record. As we see this mark again, the Eagles players not getting back there in numbers to help out in defence. That kick just bobbling off the boot of Condon. And I think in the end, Brennan was caught behind the goal umpire. Couldn't get around.
It's been a fantastic game, hasn't it? As Dennis said, it's a shame that someone has to lose. 5 points is the margin. Under 15 minutes remaining. Harding wins it. Evans has it locked up by John Platten. And so another bounce, and we're still right in the middle of Subiaco.
I've got to say, this game reminds me, as we take a look at those centre breaks, and the Eagles doing pretty well in there. Harding gets it down to those classical games, the State of Origin matches on this ground of the early 80s. Now with the ball, it's Waterman. He marked the Taylor kick and he goes out wide. McIntosh commits to the pack, couldn't hang on. It falls to Platten, quick hands. Hall comes away. Now an opportunity for the Hawks. Gowers to the run around the outer side. McGuinness boots inside the attacking 50. Splitting the pack was Dunstall. Grabbing the ball is Condon. It comes across to Hudson. Smothered off the boot. The Eagles have got the numbers here. Matera goes straight to the boundary line. Not too subtle. That was deliberate, surely.
Oh, yes.
Oh, dear, oh,
You're
dear.
right. He didn't even try to go along the boundary line. It was just straight for the boundary line, Dennis. That really, that was an obvious free kick.
Jarman quite right.
Yep.
The umpire deciding that it should be thrown in. There's Deere again, so dangerous with those boundary throw-ins on the forward line. McKenna did well. Crashing through was Paul Deere. Pritchard stood his ground superbly. Play goes on. In fact, it's going to be a Pritchard free for kicking in danger. He'll have the ball just outside the 50. Now, Pritchard, not aware it's his kick, is ushered back by Platten.
Too far out, I would think, Sandy, from this position on the oval, as Dunstall really makes a quick lead, and he's got it.
So Jason Dunstall, well, he's tucked in a very similar position to where he was just minutes ago when he threaded a gem.
Almost identical.
So he's got to repeat that wonderful performance for Hawthorn to regain the lead. He has kicked 6 without blemish.
Into the square. Who's waiting down? Over the line. No score. Throwing it in Hawthorn's left forward pocket. They lead by 5 points, and Alan Joyce doesn't know what it's like to lose a final as yet. McKenna tried to tap it further away. Allen couldn't trap it. Wilson just pushed it away onto Pike. Pike gives it to Jakovic. He gets a hurried kick towards centre wing. Here are the racehorses, Pritchard and Matera. Pritchard did well. It came off his... No, too high. I thought it was above the knee. The umpire has said, you take it, and so he has. And Heady has it on centre wing.
Pritchard was quite right to argue. It came off above the knee, I'm sure, as Heady boots it inside the attacking 50. It's fisted away by Langford. Umpires shouldn't be guessing at this stage of the game. McDonald back towards the wing. In front, Matera, who's been terrific. Jarman claims the mark over the top. Taylor's kick doesn't go far. There's a fight off the ball. Meantime, Pike, who's been terrific, uses the ball to Lewis. And Lewis is told to go for goal by Sumic. 13-13 the Eagles, 12-14 the Hawks. The margin 5 points.
I mean, very inaccurate too, Chris Lewis. 1 goal, 3.
Put the Moz on it. Lewis kicks.
Didn't have to try too hard. He's kicking pretty ordinary today.
6 points the difference. And there's the time remaining. 3 classical finals.
Sorry, Dennis. 3 of those behinds coming in this last quarter.
Could have perhaps wrapped it up. Langford boots in. Taylor. Oh, very clever mark. Taylor at half back to Pritchard. The Hawks will not be denied. Great pressure by Langdon forced the error. The kick fell short. Matera, Heady. They'll go in again. Can they get the goal to get the margin out beyond the goal? Heady. Well, he's done that twice now, and twice Gowers has got back and been superb in defence towards the boundary line. Waterman cleverly to his own advantage. Could have almost got a kick there. He was bumped front on. Heady has the ball. Outside half forward, Heady. Pulls it back high. Sumic works his way in front. Langford gets it on the ground. Patton waits in front and feeds Langford,
who kicks up towards the centre. McKenna does well. First to recover. Off to Jakovic. Jakovic is scouting from half back. Kicks wide to the wing and finds Dean Kemp. 1 straight kick in it. 10 minutes remaining. Still a ton of time as Langdon comes out and marks, but he's 70 metres out from goal. Sumic does not move. Now he's away. Langford long. The drop punt in towards full forward. Mainwaring is there. Lewis at the back. The hurried kick goes straight to Matera. Matera from 20 metres. And it could be a vital behind. 7 points the margin. Peter Matera, 3 goals, 1 for the day as Pritchard from half-back can't get around Lewis, so he just chips to Gowers. Still anyone's game. Matera waits. He's going to do the roving with McKenna, and it's the latter who takes it away. Towards Lewis. Pritchard, Collins. These players are tired, and well they may be, but it's not over yet. Someone's got to find something quite supreme. McGuinness to the half-forward line. Free kick to Condon, who was taken too high. Plays on. Flat-looking punt kick towards Dunstall. Was he pushed in the back? The umpire said no, but Gary Ayres has given away a free kick. Mitchell White to take it at half-back. They're all dog-tired. Taylor over the top, and that's a good mark. The big man plays on. He's done well. Into the pocket he goes. A big ask for Gary Ayres. And White sees it over the line once more.
And it's not a good option there from Jason Taylor. Gary Ayres really struggling after that Achilles problem.
Just over 8 minutes remain. 7 points the difference. Jakovic worked out of it again. That dangerous forward Dia. It spills across to be taken now by Pritchard. Pritchard from 40 metres hit the post. Is there any more drama this game can have? The reigning champs, one of their few sorties in the last 5 minutes, hitting the post. 7:55 and counting down. The Eagles by a goal. We talked of extra time. It could become a reality here. Here's Platten. Lays it off. Pritchard close to the boundary line. Keeps it alive. Inside the 50. Kemp, timely hand in there. Still Kemp goes. Brilliantly played. Evans miscues completely. Hasn't had a very good day. It's out of bounds on the full. Kick to be taken by Taylor. He started on the half-forward line. Out of necessity, went to half-back and has performed creditably. He kicks towards the 50. They come from everywhere. Off hands, Matera waits in front. Quickly away to Evans. Probing kick towards the wing. It clears McIntosh and his marker McGuinness. McIntosh worked it well. The Clans at odds there. He boots it down inside the 50. It's socked away by Langford. All Eagles. Harding brilliantly. Now Mainwaring inside the 50. Time and space. Taken high. Must get the kick. So Mainwaring, it comes down to this. A kick from 40 metres out. A little further.
A very good professional free kick this, though, from Raymond Jackie. Had he been around him, that would have been a certain goal. So Chris Mainwaring, actually McIntosh should have got it off to Mainwaring on the first instance when he was closing in on the 50-metre line on this side of the ground, Sandy. He had perfect opportunity to get it to Mainwaring.
The clock now inside the last 7 minutes. Mainwaring from 48 metres out on the breeze, behind, but a handy one.
Yes, it makes the margin 7 points again. In a throw. No mark from the kickoff. Fisted wide. A chance for Andy Collins to run if it sits. He's away. Allen, the half-forward. Dunstall can't complete the mark. Jakovic waiting down in front. Gets away from the Dunstall tackle. Chips short to Wilson. He's called to play on. Over the centre he goes. Heady is loose. He's got Turley wide. Just needs to go over the top. And that's where he heads. It's too wide. Finals pressure telling.
Mainwaring was by himself 50 metres in the clear on the other side. He's remonstrating now with Jakovic, and rightly so.
Well, that's twice they've ignored Chris Mainwaring.
Here's the throw-in. Slightly in the Eagles' attacking zone. Evans caught. Spills free to McGuinness. Jenke calls for it and receives it. Heads towards Paul Deere. Gave a slight nudge, but it was legal. Wilson tried to bend it back for Jakovic. What will he do this time? Straight down the middle. Lewis waited. McDonald took the mark. His hand pass goes to Chris Langford. A high kick to the outer side. Good mark. Fantastic mark by Waterman. Subiaco, gets a shocking bounce, but recovers well. Goes onto the left foot, kicks in towards goal. And produces absolutely nothing.
That's a better result than kicking a point, actually.
Well, it keeps it down there.
3 goals, 6 in this final term to the West Coast Eagles. Anderson back on the ground. Gary Ayres off.
Langdon, a long time to Pike, who snaps. That could be it. It's a goal.
She walked off the streets and into his arms.
Well, color be happy. There's a sofa in here for 2.
Tonight, Toyota presents the movie event of '92, the Australian box office mega hit. Starring Richard Gere and sensational Julia Roberts in her Oscar-nominated role.
Who ordered pizza?
For the very first time on television. The best feel-good movie in a decade. 8:30 tonight on 7.
Well, the challenge now squarely with the champs. They're down by 13 points. Their season on the line. And the West Coast Eagles have met them every inch of the way in a classical game. Harding flicks it behind. Matera. If they get a goal here, the Eagles, it should break the back of the resistance. Heady running away from goal. Left standing, pulls it back, intended for Subiaco. He was edged out of it. The mark to stand. Langford drives it back towards midfield. Paul Deere comes up the ground. Harding fists away, did well. Heady in front to Pike. Harding is down and hurt. Fights off the ball. Meantime, McDonald was taken high. Must get the free kick.
He's at half back.
There's a couple of changes too. McIntosh now playing at full back, with Brennan in some sort of trouble from a leg injury.
Great courage by Harding till he's on his feet.
Time at the moment on the side of the Eagles. There's kick towards centre wing. Kemp takes a timely mark in opposition to Ben Allen.
And just hold him up. Good use of the body there by Dean Kemp.
Spirals a punt over centre wing. Taylor, Lewis, Deere, Mainwaring, Andy Collins. Now Platt running out of room. Gives the handball away out in front of Pritchard. He's surrounded, but he does go over the top to Allen. Can they find something? Inside 50. Hawthorn need a mark. Pushing and shoving. A chance for Hall at the back. Tony Hall. What a tackle by McKenna. Fantastic pressure. Oh, I thought he was away, and McKenna found something special, and he got him.
Yes, it looked like a certain goal to the Hawks. And that's the stuff that real desperation is made of. And Guy McKenna started on the interchange. Has really made a big impact on this match since coming on.
Another bounce.
They've got to be careful here not to concede a behind too readily. The margin is 13 points.
Settle down. Deere tries to get it away. Wilson's kick is hurried, but it's effective because it gives his side just a little bit of breathing space.
Actually, he's played quite well, Peter Wilson, since going into defence, picking up Paul Hudson. But he really didn't get a touch on the forward line.
The clock continues to tick. Deere swats it towards goal, but only as far as Kemp. Wilson is more than happy to see it over the line again. And Robert Wiley working overtime as the runner. There's the throw-in. 3 Hawks fly. They need a score desperately, whereas the Eagles just have to defend. And defend like that.
That's experience, isn't it, from the big fellow Harding? He played that very well. And Mitchell Whiteoff, Dwayne Lamb back on for the Eagles.
Harding's had a marvellous game. Mitchell White, just over 2 minutes remaining now. 13 points the difference. Deere decisively. Wilson again heads for the boundary line. It's out again. Inside the last 2 minutes. It seems a forlorn hope now for the Hawks. That's the equation. Thrown in down towards half forward. Harding hammers it back towards the boundary line. And I've got to say that the clock continues to run. I don't like that rule. I think it's not an ideal way to end a game of football, this.
No, I agree, Dennis. Well, they tried the other rule, didn't they, in the Foster's Cup, and that may be the way to go.
I think so. Thrown in. Harding. Outrucked by Deere, taken by Jarman. A tired kick. Floats it down inside the 50. Kemp was hanging on initially, but he was held. Evans charged down by Allen. Well played there by Condon to keep it alive. And now the run of Matera, a factor in this game. He kicks it towards the wing. Here's Jenke. Just over a minute remaining. He gets it to Pritchard. Pritchard spears it in. Dunstall needs to hang on, and he didn't. Closed down by McIntosh. Knocked on by Jakovic. And the Eagles looking to clear the zone, but they're denied. Resolute play there by Pritchard. Eventually they work it forward. Paul Deere kicks inside the 50, but going back, Wilson.
Timely mark by Wilson, who plays on. Floats it back to Pike, who's at centre-half back.
Well, there's no need to hurry now. Don Pike can take as long as he likes.
That was with Pike.
The Eagles will advance. Hawthorn for the first time in over a decade. Out in week 1, an elimination final as Anderson. In fact, it's more than that, because this is their 11th campaign. McIntosh, Kemp over the top. They're just quite content to lock it up. Seconds ticking away now. It's all over. The Eagles may be allowed a little celebration tonight. The Hawks campaign comes to an end, as it did a couple of years ago. The Eagles will continue on in their fight for their first flag.
A lot of mutual respect between these two clubs as well.
It's been a wonderful contest.
with the Eagles just putting their noses in front in the last quarter and hanging on. Hawthorn hit by injuries, had to do some reshuffling early on. They did it, and to their credit, they held on. But the victors are the Eagles. The final scoreline here at Subiaco. West Coast 14-16, 100. Hawthorn 12-15, 87.